Anyone else like to share? How about you in the back with the glasses, sir?
My name's Bobby, and I am an addict.
Hey, Bobby.
Hi, Bobby.
You know, you folks aren't here because you're gamblers. You are here because you are terrible gamblers.
Hey, Bobby.
These folks don't need to stop doing what they're doing. They just need to get better at it. Who's dealing? Who's that?
Who's in? What's up, Bobby? The late night anger management class has begun. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bustler, but everybody else in between, including the brokenhearted. As we step up and in here this evening, not really in the mood for the full shtick off the top of the program here tonight, but we appreciate those of you joining us here this evening. First things first, thanks to Babineaux, big man on campus. I know Gamblu stepped up and in last night as well. We sincerely appreciate it. We're glad that the Rageaholics were entertained over the last couple of nights. And we also want to thank everybody for their support, kind words across the board. We sincerely appreciate it. It makes things a little bit easier. You know, obviously it's a very, very tough situation to deal with anytime you lose a loved one. But specifically, look, I've never lost a mother before, right? I've lost a grandmother. I've lost a grandfather. I've lost a father. I've lost a girlfriend. I've never lost a mother before. And each one of them is different, yet losing your mother is devastating. It just is. And the suddenness of it, too, is even more just devastating. But, you know, life is very fragile for all of us. As I tweeted earlier in the day, you know, we often think we're in control of our own lives or of destiny. And really, you know, we really don't control anything. You know, you just have to live in the moment, and there's going to be good, there's going to be bad, there's going to be everything else in between. Right now, we're just in the bad. Now, I really didn't know when I was going to come back and do shows. Part of me was like, you know, I'm not going to do shows all week. And then another part of me was like, you know, I can't just sort of sit here and drift. Now, I really haven't talked to anybody, too many people, to be honest. I've had a few brief conversations with friends of mine, and I appreciate the support of Taylor, Sonny, Jazz, and many others, Cam, you know, many others. But for the most part, the conversations have been brief. I really haven't seen anybody. My voice will be a little shot. I did a radio show today, but people really didn't see me. It's the first time I've even sort of looked at myself in days, to be honest. But, you know, I've lost people and done shows the next day before. My father died, I did a hit from the hospital, You know, I sort of saw it was coming. My father was like a show must go on. Anything must, you know, keep going type of dude. It's a little different when it's your mother. Now, I'm not going to be here with you guys till 2 a.m. here or anything like that, but we'll be with you here for a couple hours here this evening. And, you know, the thing is, like, doing the shows, it's not like, oh, it's, you know, everything's okay now. Like, I feel as crap as I do, like, as I did a few days ago. And I know there's people tuning in that have lost people, and we've gotten crazy messages from you guys, and I sincerely appreciate it. You know, our boy Kerry in BC, his father's been missing for years, like a lot of years. Might have been murder type of deal. You know, we had a dude send us an email about how he lost his daughter 2 years ago. Somebody lost their father in a car accident. I believe tonight it's our boy Rob Danner's anniversary of his mother passing away. I actually have somebody that's a close friend of mine whose mother has cancer right now, and it's not looking good. Like, she probably won't get out of the hospital. I don't know what it is, man. It's like fucking, you know, it hasn't been a great summer, I got to tell you, as far as people passing. But I don't know, man. There's something going on. Like I said, you can't make this up. I have a very close friend of mine, the girl that was actually here, and you heard her in the background months ago. She was going to come here to Toronto to support me and stuff. And she said, I got to, she was going to come. I told the story last week about how it was my birthday and she was going to come to New York because she wanted to hang out with me for my birthday. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to come to Toronto, especially after what happened on your fucking birthday. And I told her, no, it's all right. And, it's funny. The crazy reason is I was like, I don't want this girl driving here. Fuck, something's going to happen to her on the road coming here. Fuck. Right. So I was like, no. I told her, you just stay in Montreal and stay safe. All right. Like, whatever. I'll be fine. You just stay safe. The last thing I need to do is worry about you on the highway for 6 hours. So, she sort of thinks I'm crazy and stuff. And then hours later, she sends me a message. Her mother's just been taken to the hospital in an ambulance. And her mother's not well already. And I told her, you see, this is why you didn't come to Toronto. You were meant to be there. Like, there's a lot of misery out there, man. It's hard to, just sort of shrug it off. You can't shrug these things off. I've got a pit in my stomach, man. It hasn't gone away since Friday morning. Fuck. But I think, like I said, there's no right way, wrong way. You do a show the next day, you don't go to work for a fucking week. Some people fucking are in denial, and everybody handles these things differently. I'm definitely not in denial, I'll tell you that much. But I'm still kind of in shock. Like, reality is settled in, but I'm still kind of in shock, Like I said, it was my birthday. The phone rang and I could see the name. And I thought it was my mother calling me for my birthday. And instead, I get a call to find out that, listen, your mother's in bad shape. She's in the hospital right now. That was quite the, so ever since then, man, I've just had a sick feeling in my stomach. It doesn't go away. I don't know when it's going to go away. It doesn't go away. I've got the shakes kind of. It's strange. I'm all right. I've dealt with a lot of grief in my life. So I feel bad for my little brother and my mother's husband. And, it's just devastating for others, really. I'll be all right. But I do thank you guys out there, the Rageaholics, man, to know that there's thousands of people out there that have my back and that care about me. It does help you get through. Like, you always see, you'll see celebrities and stuff after, crazy shit, like somebody dies and they're like, you know what, your thoughts really did help or whatever. It sounds crazy, but it's nice to know that there's a community behind you at least, I told you guys, I don't like phones, man. I've never gotten a good phone call. Fuck. I don't like phones. The world would probably be a better place if the telephone was never fucking invented, to be honest. Nobody would know anything, at least. It's like, oh, yeah, somebody died, but it happened 12 years ago. So you're only finding out now. Motherfucking phones. Like I said, I don't know how many times my phone has rang in my lifetime. I don't know, 5,000 times or whatever. Maybe 5 times I've gotten good news. If you were gambling on those numbers, you'd stop gambling on those numbers. You wouldn't be gambling on those numbers. Just quickly for the record, we grabbed Real Salt Lake +1.5. I can't call them Real, all right? They're in Salt Lake. We took Real Salt Lake +1.5, and I like the LA Dodgers tonight as well. I think that LAFC game will actually be a draw. But, it's always a long shot taking a draw. But I think it could be a draw, that game. The draw pays pretty nicely, too. The draw pays pretty nicely as well. Now let's see what's the so there's 7 minutes in. It's still scoreless right now. The draw pays plus 375. We're going to take that too. So we've got Salt Lake plus 1.5. We got Salt Lake plus 1.5, and we got the draw plus 375. Both teams are underachieving. LAFC haven't won in 5 games. All right, LAFC haven't won in 5 games. I keep wondering where this stupid fucking game is on TV. Fuck, it's this fucking baseball game. Fuck off, man. It's fucking 7-3 already, man. Go fuck yourselves. So, yeah, Salt Lake are kind of underachievers as well. Neither of them are really playing great, but I don't really see why LAFC should be this big of favorites. They're kind of evenly matched teams. LAFC had a good run, but reality's starting to fucking settle in a bit for these guys. So we're betting against LA, the soccer team, but we're betting on LA, the baseball team. We appreciate that, OG Johnson. So, yeah, like I said, man, it's not easy. Fuck. Like, we've gotten a lot of messages from you guys, and it really has helped us out immensely. It has. Rob Danner. Today's the 9th anniversary of his mother passed away. Rob Danner's a regular listener. We got some really nice messages. We got a message here from the PR man of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Hard for me not to be a Blue Bomber fan. They're the only CFL team to send me a message. Thank you, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Here's my man, Nick Ambrosio, sent me a nice message. Look at this, man. My deepest condolences. I lost my mom 4 years ago. Hardest day of my life. You have to live for her memory. Poor Nick, man. Steeler Nick, Annihilator Nick. He's from Montreal, man. The guy's lost his eyesight over the years. When he started listening to our program, he could see. Now he can't. That's what I'm saying, man. There's challenges out there for motherfucking everybody. It's sad, fuck. I don't know. There's my man, Steve Wilson. What's up, Steve? I don't know why fucked up shit happens. Like, I'm not speaking from myself either, but just in the world, there's so much misery. You know what it is? It's sort of like coaches. Like, there's so much misery out there. And then you say, wow, there's also so much joy that counters it. But people don't really enjoy the joy. You know what I mean? Like, even me. You know what I mean? Like, I can go 4-1 betting, and I'm more mad about the game I lost. Or, we always see you never really are fully happy. Maybe some of you are. I've never really been. There's been times, I've been in love and stuff, and that always ends poorly. So, like the misery, the pain seems to stand out more somehow, but it's like without the losing, there's not winning. Without the grief, there's not joy, right? I told the eerie story before that when my brother was born, it's crazy. My brother was I have a little brother. He was born, and his birth was in the newspaper, and I was still in high school then. And his birth was in the newspaper in the birth section. And there was a guy who was a friend of mine, nice guy too. Good baseball pitcher. He's a good pitcher. Fuck. He's on my baseball team. And he must have been like 15 at the time, 14, 15, 14 or so. And he showed me. So I sit down and he goes, congratulations, I saw you have a brother. And he showed me the newspaper clipping. And at first I thought to myself, that's kind of strange. Like this guy cut out the birth of my, I was like, oh, like, wow, thank you. And he goes, no, look at the back. And I turned it over and it was his father's obituary. You can't. And he said, birth and life, the cycle. It fucking blew me away. I was like, holy shit. There's like a lot of synergy, and it's weird, man. Everybody's connected somehow. Everybody's connected somehow in this world. Like everybody has the same experiences, just at different times. Just different times. That's the thing. What's up, Bernaland? That's the thing. Humans as a whole, right? We really are. Like humans, everybody's sort of connected in a sense. But for me personally, like I stated, I'm more devastated for my brother. I'm devastated for her husband. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but actually, I don't think I was on SBR at that time. Now, my mother was on SBR, and she was at the show, the last Vancouver show. And we got some great pictures of her, too. That's like a picture that I really, really liked that Greg Harvey took. Great stuff. We really appreciate to have that picture. But it was a couple of years ago. It was a couple of years ago that my mother had cancer, and a very severe form of cancer, in which the life expectancy rate was in between 5 and 10%. And I remember I went to Vancouver for her surgery and stuff. I did a show, but it wasn't really a show. It was just sort of me showing up in Vancouver, and I was all nervous and stuff. And I remember praying at the time. No, I didn't see the video. Please save it for me, Kyle. So I remember at the time, a couple of years ago in Vancouver, might have been 3 years ago. I'm bad with years. Everything merges together. Unfortunately, I wish it fucking wasn't so recent. Probably about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Probably about 3 years ago. Probably about 3 years ago. Yeah, my mother had like a very, very bad form of cancer. And in fact, our good friend Richard Garner's mother had the exact same form of cancer, and she passed away, unfortunately, as well. See, we're not alone here. And I remember praying literally to God, saying, you know what? Don't take her now, man. Give her another couple of years. Like, because the doctors actually said the survival rate is 5 to 10% with the surgery. And even after that, people that survive the surgery usually pass in like 3 to 5 years after. And I remember thinking, you know what? I'll take my chances in 3 to 5 years. Fuck. And it's crazy because she beat the cancer. She was pretty much cancer free, but then her heart gives out. Now my heart's fucking about to give out because of that. But I have to look at the positive and say, you know what? I'm lucky that I got those couple of years that I did go to Vancouver as much as I could. I wish I would have been there more recently. And the crazy thing is, I was going to move to Vancouver to hang out with her more because I knew she wouldn't be around forever. Now, I never expected it was going to happen like this. And then, of course, the New York stuff came up. And, we're going to be in Vegas next week. And I already planned to go to Vancouver. I already have my ticket, ironically enough. So we're going to go back to Vancouver another time and have a celebration for my mother. Spend a couple of days in Vancouver before we hit New York. So really, we only have a couple of nights left here in Toronto, to be honest, which is kind of crazy too. I never really realized it. Everything's very sudden, man. There's a lot of changes, all at once, There it is, just like that. Boom. I realized that. It's like, man, we're going to be in Vegas. What day is it today? It's Wednesday. So Vegas is next Wednesday. I'm not overly enthusiastic about Vegas anymore. It's not like, hey, yeah, we're going to Vegas. I'm not canceling. I'm not canceling the trip or anything like that, but, we'll see how I feel over the next week. But, I'm going to go because I have to go to the West Coast anyways. I'm going back to Vancouver for a couple of days next week after Vegas. And then after that, there's no turning back. We'll be on in New York September the 1st, the Saturday for college football. Yeah, Sandu, it sucks. Losing fathers suck too. There is something about losing your parents. There is. But my mother, was very, very excited about New York City. And she was excited about, me going to New York. She was excited about the opportunity to make it big and in on a big market and make it big time. So she was always very, very proud of me. That's one thing I do know. And I'm going to save a few stories for Saturday. We'll move on here. We'll bring Babineaux on and talk football in a couple of minutes. But I'm very, very lucky that, like I said, my birthday was Friday, but I spoke to her. On Wednesday night from New York. I called her. She called me by chance and she said, "Are you in New York yet, or what's going on?" And I wasn't an asshole, but thank God I called her back. But I was in a car, I was in a taxi. And I told her, "Yeah, it's a long story, Mom, but it's kind of crazy. I'll call you back in an hour or two when I get on. It's nuts. I'm in a Lincoln Tunnel." It was all chaotic. But thank God I called her back. That'd be on my conscience forever. And I spoke to her for 20 minutes too. She actually let me go after. I kept talking to her. But I spoke to her for 20 minutes on the Wednesday night, and I was overlooking the New York City skyline. I was on the waterfront on the Hudson on the Jersey side. And I was, telling her, "Yeah, it's real. I'm coming here and got this great view here, and I'm going to live in this neighborhood." And she was like, "Oh, I'm so excited." And then she said, "Oh, I'll speak to you on Friday for your birthday again." She goes, "I'll speak to you in a day and a half. Happy birthday." And then, unfortunately, I never spoke to her again. But at least I have that call. I was thinking, man, I wish I could call the NSA and say, "Hey, listen, man, I know you guys listen to every call. Can I get that call from you?" It'd mean a lot to me. I want to call the cell phone. I know you guys spy on everybody all the time. So is there any possibility you can get me that phone call? Unfortunately, I don't have any I don't have a voicemail, which is fucking probably pretty stupid too. You're right. I would have messages. She always complained about that. She goes, I always try to leave you messages, but you don't even have a machine. But you know what? I've got her memory. Like I said, Kyle Hamburg says he's got a video from that night. Hell, we've got the video from that night. We got to look it up. I don't know. It's different all the time. Like when my father passed, I had a hard time, like even looking at anything. Like my father left me his guitar, the acoustic guitar, and I didn't play it for like 2 years. It hurt me to. I was like, but I don't know. It's different with my mother. For some reason, like it doesn't. I like looking at her picture and stuff now. It's bizarre. You figure, oh, it's too much, but yeah, it actually makes me happier. Here's Greg. I can't imagine the pain, Greg. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, but yeah, that's all I can do really is, like I said, I'm worried about my brother. He's younger than me. It's very painful for him. And I told him, listen, the last thing that she would want is for you to get really, really screwed up and mess your life up now because of this. So, and I didn't give him the old be strong shit. That's dumb, that stuff, But I just told him, I said, you got to just, do what you got to do for the next little while, but just stay on track, man. Don't drift here. I said, I know. I told him, I've done it before. Don't drift, So I can't drift either. I feel like I've got to keep an eye on him now, which is crazy. You know what? Maybe if there's anything, it'll bring us closer together. And I'm sure my mother's smiling right now at that because I'll be honest with you, it's embarrassing. I didn't even know his phone number before. He didn't know my phone number before. We get along, but we're in two different worlds, and I'm sure it's bothering him. I've called him every day since. I've never called him before, so it's catching him off guard. He's like, hello? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just checking in with you, I'm going to call him after the show tonight, but I'm not going to call him every day for the rest of his life, but I think it's good that I check in, at least briefly, with him. Was it January 12th, huh? Yeah, the poor kid can't sleep, he said. Fuck. Yeah, like if there's anything I can do, I always say, "Oh, I got no one left. I got nothing left." Well, I've got him left. I've got her husband left. But yeah, I got to keep my eye on him now. What's up, Lucas? I've got to keep my eye on him now. Thanks, big man. Thanks for stepping up and in, buddy. But tomorrow we'll do a radio hit. So, as I stated, it's like, it's devastating. I'm not any better and shit. I'm just sort of rambling now, but as I stated, fuck. I prayed, man, that she would beat the cancer and get another couple of years, and she did. Yeah. It's like an episode of The Twilight Zone. You know what I mean? You got your wish, fuck. You know, it's like, that's what it's like. It's like, you know, you got your wish, but at the end of the episode, it's like, boom, fuck. It's like, and they tell you, listen, that wasn't the deal. The deal was a couple of years. You know, that we gave you. We gave you. Now you owe us. Like, you know, it's like, what episode of The Twilight Zone is that? They're all like that, fuck. Yeah, they're all like that. All right, 1-0 for LAFC right now, which is okay. We can live with that. If it becomes 2-0, we got a little bit of a problem. I should have just bet on the Portland Timbers 2 game and San Antonio FC. We knew the Blue Jays Royals game would go over. I rarely bet overs, but we thought that game had over written all over it. We had some good baseball picks tonight, but tomorrow there's some NFL preseason. We'll take a look at this with Babineaux, actually. But I'm on the Cardinals, actually. They're up 4-0. We had the Mets. We lose with the Red Sox. We're on the Dodgers right now. Oh, Rockies getting their ass handed to them, 12-1. But I can't. I put the work in today, to be honest. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I got ready for the radio show. I read about the baseball games, but my heart's not really in it. I just sort of did it. I bet the other day, despite like how depressed I was sort of just sitting here staring at shit. I didn't bet for a few days. I was like, you know what? I'll just fucking bet on these stupid football games. Fuck. And I didn't watch them, whatever. I was in a fucking airport. I just bet on them. And of course I went like 5-0. And then the next day, same shit. I just blindly sort of, I'll bet on this, and this. I didn't watch or nothing. And I saw the next day, I went like 0-5. I was like, well, yeah, that's life. And so I'm not in my peak form right now. We'll try to channel. If anything, I think the radio show is very good today, actually. I didn't crack any jokes. You'll notice I've cracked a few jokes tonight, I guess, but I'm not really in a joke mood. But our sports takes were very good tonight. The radio show is good. But this isn't the type of thing that emotionally saves you. You know what I mean? Oh, fuck me. It's fucking 2-0 LAFC now. All right, we're going to need a goal from Salt Lake. It's not the type of thing that saves you, but I believe it was Mud, and good to see you, Mud. Mud's a nice guy. I believe it was Mud that asked if I'm listening to music. Thank you very much, Sonny Vega. Although fucking Cam kind of threw us for a loop. But at first it was upsetting, and I'm like, whatever, fuck. It's just typical. And I just made it. It was funny at the end, but. But Mud asked if we're listening to music, and no. Although, right after my mother passed, and I don't want to get into the details about it, but right after, I went back to her place with her husband and my brother, and her husband put a record on. Fuck, I wasn't really into it at first. I didn't want to hear any music, but it was very haunting music. The band's very good. I think it's called All These Witches. I never heard of them before. I did enjoy them, actually. All These Witches, I believe they were called. Now, I'll always think of that dreadful day now when I hear them. But they were pretty good. It's like a modern, I don't know, it's like Pink Floyd or fucking sort of newer. I don't know. It was good shit, that band. I don't know where they're from. I don't know anything about them. I wanted to look them up, actually. All Them Witches, yeah. Yeah, they're very, very good. It's deep shit. Like, it's not like, it's not bubblegum shit, that's for sure. Yes, I'll still be at the IFBC. I will be there, big man. I will be there, bro. And God willing, fuck, who knows? But yeah, my plan is to be there. Neo psychedelia, yeah, it's sort of like modern, heavier Pink Floyd. It's, yeah, I guess whatever that is. I don't know where they're from, anything about them. All Them Witches. So I listen to them, but since then I haven't. I've had that Audio Slave song stuck in my head, "Be Yourself," but the one thing I have done, though, is I played a lot of guitar. So I'm sort of channeling some of this fucking rage and anger into the new Homicide material. And that's going to be the outlet for this. Now, the guitarist, the Homicide, Brian, he's had a crazy life, too. I'm not going to get into his personal life, but like, he's really like out, like he's like ready to lay his fucking blood on the line here, fuck, on this too right now. And our drummer's father isn't well. There's gonna be a lot of emotion on this record. We're gonna channel it. I'm gonna try to just channel my mother. My mother's a big music fan too, so you know, I'll try to just fucking make the best fucking record we possibly can, man. Have a nice night, Dan Lawn. Oh, and Dan Lawn asked about, yeah, I'm not going to any racetracks in Ontario anytime soon, Dan Lawn. My horse racing career is done. Unless I got roped into the New York scene. You're going to see I'm going to own a horse at Aqueduct or something. Fuck. Thank you very much, Al. Nashville, Tennessee. All Them Witches. Yeah, it's good stuff. Give it a listen. But thanks for the kind words, Dan. Well, so Saratoga is upstate New York. Saratoga is like Syracuse area, Ian. We'll bring in Babineaux here in a minute. I don't know, man. Our last fucking horse, we lost fucking a lot of money, all of us. A fucking disaster. It was a fucking disaster. Yes, sir, Wally George. Cam Stewart will be at the IFBC. No, the racetrack closest to me would be Belmont. There's Bolt. What up, Bolt? Thank you so much for the picture, Bolt. You're a class act, buddy. For me, you know, Saratoga is a beautiful place. You know, my good friend Ted Teven. Poor Ted Teven's wife passed recently, too. Ellie Teven. So poor Ted. You know, Ted had his neck broken at Saratoga. Ted Teven got fucking smashed into by a drunk driver in the parking lot at Saratoga Racetrack. Thank you very much, T Money. Thank you very much, Team Money. Yeah, Ted Teven broke his neck at Saratoga. Some drunk driver ran into him. Like him and his wife. He came back from that. I've never been to Belmont Racetrack. I guess I'll get out there. Maybe for the next Kentucky Derby or the next Triple Crown chase. I've never been to Belmont before. You know, Team Money, that's the thing over the years. You know, there's thousands of people, man, tens of thousands of people I've never met before, don't even know their names, or, you know, they don't come in the chat that, you know, that we've got their back every night, but you guys have our back too. It's reciprocal. It goes both ways. Come on, Salt Lake. Fuck. Score a fucking goal. LAFC are usually motherfucking terrible defensively. What's up, MVP Sports? Good to see you, bro. But yeah, we're still going to be at IBC next week. And we'll have a toast for my mother. We'll have a toast for Dave Malinsky. Thank you, Intermission. We'll have a toast for Malinsky, Earl de la Perel. And you know what's crazy? It's all his death. I was supposed to be in Montreal for Earl de la Perel's first game, or Sun U's first game without Earl, and there was like a banquet for him and stuff after. And I couldn't go. I couldn't go, and I felt bad because I got back from New York. I was like, man, I don't know if I can make it. And I was thinking, well, I got to go for Earl. And then, and it's a good thing I didn't go to Montreal. Fuck. Yeah, so this Saturday, pretty crazy how life goes, man, and shit changes. But this Saturday will be our last Saturday here, our last Saturday Patreon show. So Taylor Stevens and Sonny Vega are going to come down. You know, we'll see. Maybe a couple other people we'll see. I'm not really in a party mood, but Taylor and Sonny are good friends. We'll see them in Vegas, but shit's getting real. Like I said, my neighbors are going to be real happy. My last show here will be next Tuesday. It's crazy. Like, it's this sudden, man. I got to continue my packing and my fucking, everything's overwhelming. Fuck, you know. Everything's overwhelming. But I'm going to be amongst friends for the next couple of weeks here. And then I'll be sent off into the fucking concrete jungle of the Big Apple where, you know, I know a few people, but like, you know, you want to be in the big leagues, fuck. Yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm going with my wife and kids, and yeah, it's gonna be great. It's like, no, fuck. You're gonna be living in Jersey City and fucking some fucking dump, probably, fucking Weehawken. Be fucking on the air 22 hours a day. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to ask. No, I don't blame Taylor. I think it's Sonny. We'll have to ask Sonny Vega. Please be careful of the toilet. It's our last night. Now, listen, we're going to be back, though. Like, you know, fortunately, I don't have to fully pack, but I got to get this shit moving because I'll be back in Ontario for like a week to do the homicide record. Now, I honestly don't see how we're going to do this in 3 days, to be honest. But, you know, we got to start fucking somewhere, man. It is what it is, fuck. And we got a week to rehearse, which isn't enough time. It's kind of, everything sucks, fuck. Well, whatever, man. You know, I try to do a million things. All I can do is my best with time and shit. So who needs a job? Get me in with the Fantasy Sports Network. Yeah, the record's going to be awesome, Bertalam. It really is good. I'm not just saying that. It's going to be real good. We're recording it at Metalworks Studios. Rick Emmett and Triumph, Metalworks Studios. Big leagues. This will be the best produced shit we've ever done. Walls of Marshalls and fucking heavy production. It's going to be cool. But no, we're still going to be doing the late night anger management class. We'll still be doing this show from 10 to midnight. No, I'm going to be on in the mornings there, so I won't have, we're going to be shutting it down at midnight and stuff, but we're going to be shutting it down at midnight. But the show continues. As long as my voice holds up. Now, to prove my seriousness, I'm airing the place out. So we haven't even blazed in here. It's like it's going to take a couple of weeks to air the place out. No, Cam's staying in Toronto, but yeah, I have to air it out, Ty Rich. I've been blazing in this place for fucking 3 years. Like, you know what I mean? It's sort of like one of those Febreze commercials. Like, I know it doesn't, I'm used to the smell in here. I'm used to the smell in here. It's better because I wasn't here for a few days. And when I got back, you know what it is? Because in Vancouver, you can't even smoke weed on the balcony. And you know, it's funny, Drew, you'll like this. I was looking at a place actually in fucking Weehawken, and I'm looking at a place and it really looks nice and shit. But then I started to read like on Yelp, like there's reviews of like people talking about the management and shit. And it's funny, like all these people are like, yeah, the building's nice, but the management are fucking nut jobs. And I got complaints for smoking weed on my balcony. And all these people, were complaining. They're like, the property manager fucking threatens to kick you out if you have a party. Fucking someone said, look at all the notices that this lady sends. And it was a place I was considering. Nando told me to move into this place. And the lady's like, you're loud after 10 o'clock. You're going to get kicked out. I start the show at 10. She's like, enough of people smoking illegal substances in the common areas of this condo. And it's gone too far. We're going to call the police on people if you keep on smoking weed. And I was like, scratch. Fucking. I'm like, this is not the place for me. Like, so basically now that's it. I'm just going to ask fucking Serpico. I'm going to say Michelle, fuck. And you're, in the condo there, can you make noise? Fuck. Does anyone ever complain? Because supposedly she has parties all the time. That's what Corey told me. He goes, oh, yeah, you got to move in Michelle's building. She goes, she has parties like every 2 weeks. She's like, she's got like 20 hot friends that come over and shit. And so that's what I need. Imagine I'm doing this show night one in New Jersey and I got a fucking knock on the door. We got a problem, fuck, Like I need to be able to, Thank you, Gino. I need a more, yeah. And the lofts, like the place in Jersey City, I don't even know what that path is. What is the path, Drew? Is the path like a direct, I know the path here is like a tunnel and shit that you walk into. But is there a direct fucking train from like Jersey City to Penn? I guess there has to be. I don't know. It seems like Weehawken might be a little uptight and Jersey City might be a little looser. So that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know, Weehawken might be a little nicer, but Jersey City, I probably will be able to get away with more. Probably. Is that a direct train or something, Drew? Is that what it means? So it's a direct train? Because, yeah, look it, because that's the thing. I noticed Jersey City, the commute goes right into the WTC. Yeah, that's what I like about Weehawken, Drew. It's midtown, man. Like the fucking ferry's right there. Boom. And I just go right up 34th Street. Fuck. I'm trying to keep my commute to a minimum, you know? She says 40 minutes it takes to get in. She said 30 to 40 minutes. I don't know. I'll figure it the fuck out. I don't have to live in Jersey either, fuck. But it's just New York's pretty expensive, and I don't really feel like taking the subway and all that shit all over the place. Like Jersey's actually quicker to get into Manhattan, believe it or not. But whatever, man. I'm running out of time, so I got to stop talking about it and do it soon. And it just, I don't know. I'm leaning to Jersey City now in Michelle's building. Number one, at least I'll know someone in the building. Number two, she knows the fucking dude, fucking, you know, the property manager. She goes, oh, I can get you in, no problem. You just come with me and we'll meet him. So that's good for me. She says it's easy to get to the station. And yeah, it can't hurt fucking getting to know her, smoking hot friends, right? You get a place in the South Bronx. Yeah, yeah. I'll last like a fucking night there. I'll get fucking beat. I'll get killed like that guy in the street. Fuck. The only thing is, she's telling me, you know, there's really not a lot around the place, though. Like, yeah, at least one person. No, I don't know. That's not really true, Sonny. You're going to say, at least I'll know somebody. Yeah, maybe on Saturday I'll be real loud. Fuck. It's the last Saturday. Yeah, she's hot. Fuck. She dates fucking New York Giant football players. Fuck. She's in shape. You got to be, you know, I'm not, you got to be in shape. I might make more money. That's true, Drew. I might make more money than a UFC fighter. Oh, Jerry Jones. I'd take you seriously if your name wasn't Jerry Jones. All right, so listen. We made Babineaux wait. We're going to take one quick break here. Babineaux will step up and in a minute with us. We'll talk some NFL football, some college football, and some other stuff with Babineaux. And let's hope Let's hope we can get one stupid fucking goal from Real Salt Lake. Austin, Texas, and with the MLS halftime show. Austin, Texas is approved at MLS Stadium. They're not in the league now or anything. It's like Miami, Cincinnati, and Nashville coming in, but I guess Austin City Council just agreed to build a fucking stadium for them. So expect the team to be going to Austin. Yeah, but Babineaux will join us next.
Intelligent around view monitor and rear cross track. At the Nissan Clear Out event, get 0% on select models or up to $6,000 cash on other select models.
They're going back. Get the Sky Pro free unlock smartphone for just $99 at Staples.
Messing up walls is a rite of passage, but this premier paint is changing everything. Show me what you got. They wipe right off. Not a chance. Mooney didn't leave a mark. Oh, yes, we must stand up against this enemy of self-expression.
Hey guys. Premier Paint, made to withstand everyday life. Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, fries are in.
Are yours? If you're looking for a new car, you'll love autotrader.ca. Down here, they have the largest selection of new cars in Canada with the most makes and models. So for great deals from trusted dealers, visit autotrader.ca. That's a lot of new cars.
This hotel, she's gonna like it. Mint chocolates on the pillow, fancy shampoo bottles in the bathroom, and fluffy pancakes for breakfast. How do I know so much about this hotel? It's simple. Trivago gathers reviews from websites and apps worldwide, showing me all the details she really cares about. Ratings for rooms, service, and breakfast are gathered in one easy-to-use place, so I can say at a glance, she's gonna like it. That way I make the right choice for her and save time for myself as well. Hotel Trivago.
Whitecaps FC, New York Grizzlies. San Jose, Toronto FC. MLS on TSN Global. Now it's time for the goal of the week, brought to you by AT&T. 2 nominees still really in the running, including Luciano Acosta's late game winner in a dramatic finish against Orlando, and the one currently leading the field, Yuka Raitala from Montreal with this rip to tie Real Salt Lake over the weekend. Go to MLSsoccer.com/GOTW tonight to vote for your favorite AT&T goal of the week. Welcome back to the Audi halftime report from Bank of California Stadium in Los Angeles. LAFC trying to snap a 5-game winless streak, leads it 2-0 over Real Salt Lake.
These fucking cocksuckers, Salt Lake, screw me all the time. All right. Babineaux. So we got 3 NFL preseason games tomorrow, actually. Let me send Babineaux the link here. We talked about the Jalen Ramsey stuff today. You know, I think pretty much for the most part, Jalen Ramsey's quarterback assessments were actually pretty accurate. I mean, he knows more than we do. I mean, he plays in the NFL, right? He plays against these quarterbacks, etc. Yeah, there's a few that I disagreed with. Now, I'm not going to rip the guy. I find him to be annoying personally, all right? He's annoying, but at the same point in time, so many athletes are boring and don't say anything. So I'm not going to criticize the guy for having an opinion and actually answering someone's fucking question that they asked him. And GQ magazine basically said, all right, every quarterback in the NFL. And there's a few dudes he didn't talk about. He didn't play against them or whatever. But Josh Allen, trash. He says Josh Allen, and he actually gives and it's funny, if you read, I'm just going to bang off quickly each quarterback's thing. We'll get Babineaux's take, and you guys can contribute. But he actually gives reasons and little write-ups for every quarterback. It's not just, but, it'll take too long to read every fucking write-up of every quarterback that he did. He says Josh Allen is trash. He's going to be terrible in the NFL, and the Bills are going to regret drafting him. Tom Brady. He says Tom Brady doesn't suck. That's all he really says about Brady. He doesn't suck. He says Aaron Rodgers is good. He doesn't suck. He says Tyrod Taylor is very underrated. He's much better than people think he is or give him credit for being. I was very surprised. He's got very nice words about Marcus Mariota. He goes, he's a perfect quarterback for their team. He's a very good game manager as well. Garoppolo, I guess you could say he's good. Deshaun Watson, future MVP. Carson Wentz, future MVP. So far, he's really, I don't know, his Brady and his Rodgers doesn't suck. It's kind of funny, but Garoppolo, he's like, I don't know. He goes, we'll see if he's good. I guess so, maybe. He's unsure. He goes, I guess you could say he's good. Deshaun Watson, he thinks is the future of the NFL in quarterbacks. He thinks Carson Wentz is a stud, future MVP. He says Jared Goff is average to above average. Now, Goff, we don't really know yet. Goff was bad in his first year, but it wasn't fair. He had a shitty team, and he had a stupid coach in Jeff Fisher that doesn't know how to tutor a young quarterback, right? Now that he has Sean McVay and a good offense around him and shit, Goff was good. He could be better, but Goff was pretty good last year in his second year. But the jury's still out on Goff. Dak Prescott. He's good. He's all right. He's okay. Kirk Cousins, he's very good. He's a real winner, a hell of a competitor. Man, people just love Kirk Cousins, fuck. Huh? Even players, fuck. I don't know why they love him so much. Derek Carr, he's good. This is the one that I think he's wrong about. Eli Manning. He goes, Eli Manning is nothing without Odell Beckham Jr. I don't know, fuck, Ramsey. I know that you're young and dumb and shit, but Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls when fucking Odell was still smoking weed in fucking high school, all right? Well, so, in fact, yeah, he's never won jack shit with Odell Beckham Jr., fuck. So I wouldn't say he's nothing without Odell Beckham. I mean, obviously, every quarterback struggles without their top weapon like Eli did last year. Russell Wilson, he only says he's good. He doesn't like Ben Roethlisberger. He says Ben Roethlisberger is decent at best. Nick Foles, he was good enough to win a Super Bowl, but he was surrounded by a great team. Drew Brees, he's really, really good. Andrew Luck, I don't think he's any good at all. I really believe that. He's not good. Now, we spoke with Lou about this today, and Lou said he thinks that he knows that Andrew Luck is good, but he's just shit-talking Andrew Luck. You know, they doesn't like him, and he views the Colts. And it's funny, too, because if you look at the quarterback rating, Andrew Luck in his career, he's been hurt a lot recently, but in his career, he's thrown 16 passes at Jalen Ramsey. He's completed 11 of them for a quarterback rating of 125, 172 yards, and 1 touchdown pass. So for a guy that's not very good, he's lit your ass up, fucking Ramsey. And another thing is, too, Ramsey's not even graded as the best DB in the league. Fuck, Hayward with the Saints was last year. And second was Jalen Ramsey, and by 0.2. Like Jalen Ramsey graded like 91.6, and fucking Trey White grades 91.4, the Buffalo Bills. And, you know, but whatever. You know, Ramsey, you know, he's a showman. So it is what it is. I'll give it to him. He says, Ryan Tannehill. It's funny with Tannehill. He goes, I've never played against him before. And he goes, I've never really watched a Miami Dolphin game before. But he goes, I don't hear very good things about him. I don't think he's very good. Phillip Rivers. He goes, Phillip Rivers is pretty good. Matt Ryan is the one. He goes, Matt Ryan is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. He goes, Matt Ryan, the only reason Matt Ryan won the MVP is because Julio Jones. He's not an MVP. And this is where he sort of backs up his facts a little bit. He said, I looked it up. He says, I looked it up. And he goes, Matt Ryan ain't shit without Kyle Shanahan. And he goes, if you look at Kyle Shanahan is good with quarterbacks wherever he goes. So he goes, I think it's more Kyle Shanahan and Julio Jones than Matt Ryan being good. He doesn't like Matt Ryan. Blake Bortles. He goes, Blake's going to do what he's got to do. Then he goes on to say that he thinks they could have beaten the Patriots, but the Jags staff was too conservative, and they didn't let Blake Bortles throw the ball more. No, dude, that's why you fucking nearly beat the Patriots, because they didn't let Blake Bortles throw the ball more. Fucking Buffalo Bills only lost 7-3, man. We were in Vancouver that weekend, and I swear to God, every time Bortles threw the ball, nearly got intercepted. The Bills could have won that fucking game. And Joe Flacco, he says, Joe Flacco sucks. He goes, Joe Flacco's just terrible. He sucks. That's all I can say. He sucks. He says, Matthew Stafford, he said he's straight, whatever that means. Fuck, I don't know. I think that's sort of slang for he's good. He's straight. Speaking of straight, let's bring in the straightest white guy we know, Babineaux. What's up, Babineaux?
Gabe, it's good to have you back. One more time, my condolences to you. I can only say that I am happy I got to see your mother in Vancouver last January. And my one memory of her is going to be the fact that even though I only met her and talked to her for 2 minutes in her lifetime, is the fact that I just breeze up and introduce myself and I say, it's great to finally meet Mrs. Rage. Now, some people, when they hear someone say that they've never met before, they're like, who's this goofball coming rolling in here saying, oh, calling me Mrs. Rage. Not your mom. She's chuckling. She's smiling. She couldn't have been nicer, saying nice to meet you. And just little thing like that, Gabe, a great memory for me of seeing your mother for the first time. And yeah, I mean, we're obviously going to miss her and we feel for you. And I could say these cliches a million times over, Gabe. You know, I understand what you're going through. That's bullshit. Okay, that's total BS. I don't understand. I haven't lost a parent. And I hope that day doesn't come anytime soon. But We're thinking of you, and we're glad you're back. You're back in the late night hours where you belong, my friend.
We appreciate it, Babineaux, and thank you to you and Big Man for stepping in the other night for us. We do sincerely appreciate your class act. And to be honest, we got a lot of nice, kind words on Twitter, and so many we can't thank everybody. Really, we do sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. But nothing, made me laugh at all, and I really haven't. I've chuckled a bit at a few things, but the first smile, I swear to God, Babineaux, the first smile that brought to my face in like the 48 to 72 hours after or whatever is when I saw your story, and you said in Vancouver you went up to my mother and introduced yourself, and you called her Mrs. Rage.
And I noticed that during the show,
pretty funny,
later on, you actually referred to her as Mrs. Rage. So you must have liked it. You must have liked that little moniker.
Yeah, but she really, I guess the compassionate side of the show is her side. Like,
yeah,
Sports Rage is really more my father. Like, my father was Rage. Fuck. So
yeah.
I'm sort of channeling my father's anger into a sports show somehow, it seems. My mother really wasn't an angry woman at all. That's the thing, right? So I guess it's the fire and ice, right? But
exactly.
It's
the yin and the yang, exactly. Oil and water.
The creator of the rage, though, that she was, yeah, she was more of a hippie type of woman. I told you my grandmother, may she rest in peace. My grandmother hated my radio show. Fuck. And then she kind of, I was like, at first, I was like, why does she listen to me more? She's a big sports fan and stuff, but she never really talks to me about the radio too much. And then finally, she just unloaded once. She's like, she goes, I was out on the front lawn, and she goes, the neighbors are asking me why you're so mean and why you rip the Canadians so much, and what's your grandson's problem? My grandmother's like, so I tuned into the radio show. She goes, you were saying like horrible things and you were yelling at everyone. She goes, that's not my grandchild. She was like, my grandmother was like devastated. She's like, she goes, your language on the air is horrible. Like, so I'm getting like dressed down for my grandmother. And I told her, I said, Grandma, I love you. I said, I really love you a lot. But I said, with all due respect, I said, my demographic isn't 84-year-old women. I said, with all due respect, Grandma, you're 84 years old. Like, I said, if you like the show, I'm kind of, it's not really, the audience. She wasn't pleased.
She wasn't hearing it. She's like, I'm not hearing that one bit. I don't care what the target demographic is. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable, Gabe.
He's like, you be nicer. You be nicer to the Montreal Canadiens. That was her only beef.
Yeah.
You be nicer to the Canadiens.
Were they ever nice to you?
I'm not a victim or anything.
Getting along with someone's a two-way street. I found that out.
Yeah, they took my press pass away once. But I also did. Listen, in Montreal, it's sort of like being on the radio in Green Bay or something. Or Alabama. Like, there's only like a few teams and a few cities that understand that. You know what I mean? Like, Green Bay with the Packers, or Alabama with their football, Montreal. You know what I mean? It's like, it's sort of like it's a religion there.
Yankees in New York, yeah.
Yeah, and exactly. And, even New York, though, it's big, but there's so many different teams, right? So it's sort of splintered a bit. But the passion for the Yankees obviously high, but people really aren't very negative, right, about them. There's a few people that are. They don't like it, but they've been around for a long time. So they didn't like that I was a nobody and I would rip them, right?
No.
That's what bothered them the most. Like, that was the thing that just bothered them the most. But that's how these teams always get away with this stuff, because everybody's sort of living in fear of the franchise all the time, because they don't want to lose their press pass. But I'm always of the belief, and I realize too, that whether you have a press pass or not doesn't stop you from being able to watch the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So it's like, It's like I told the Canadians, like, whatever, fuck. Like, I said that on the air after to them. I know they were listening. I said, you guys take my press pass away, but it's not like I didn't watch the game tonight, and I don't have an opinion on the game. Just because, or you took away my free fucking Pepsi and my free fucking May West and bag of chips for the night. This whole thing is, you can't go in the room after, but nobody says anything in the fucking room after anyways. Right? So, yeah, the Expos actually liked me. The team liked me. The Major League Baseball owned the Expos when I worked for them.
You got a chance to do a color analyst job, a guest color analyst job with the Expos. You'll never forget.
That's something no one can ever take away from me.
Exactly.
Major League Baseball color analyst. Pretty crazy, though. I was an employee of Major League Baseball.
That's a good way to look at it. I worked for MLB.
I did. I reported whatever. My check, I didn't get paid from MLB technically, but they were my bosses. They owned the fucking team. The president of the Expos used to give me shit fucking like every fucking 2 days. He used to call like the show. And he'd be like, I just want to correct you on something. Like, he'd be so like upset that I would be saying things about the stadium or about them leaving. And they were like, don't talk about us leaving. I'm like, what do you mean don't talk about you leaving? I said, you've been here for 37 years. You guys think you're leaving is kind of a story. It was like, don't talk about us leaving so much. It hurts ticket sales. Like, I told the guy, it was Tony Tavares, the president of the Anaheim Ducks. And the reason I was really stupid and young, though, I once made a joke, I said, I don't know what he does, I said, I think he just has porn magazines in his briefcase. And it was a dumb joke. I shouldn't have said it. And whatever. He was fucking pissed, but he didn't like me. And he actually, when they played in Puerto Rico, they actually had a fucking radio installed in the booth so they could track me because they figured when they didn't bring me to Puerto Rico. And they figured, he's going to rip us when we're gone because he's going to think that we don't know what he's saying. Because I used to fucking know, and I used to know when he was listening and not.
Like they're trying to put a wiretap on you.
Yeah, but then I found out. It was like the Canadians. I got told, I was once sitting in the press box at the Montreal Canadiens, and Stormin' Norman Marshall tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, that's the guy. That's your spy. And he pointed to the guy. I said, what do you mean? And they said, that guy's job is to fucking listen to everything that you say on the radio. I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah, I'm dead serious. He goes, that's his gig. He listens to your show every night. He gets paid to do it. I see the guy looking at me. I was thinking, that's fucked up, man.
That's paranoia personified.
Well, it's basically so he could report back.
Yeah.
So his job was to fucking, but it's not just me. They do that for everyone. So, like, crazy people. Like, my ex-girlfriend actually did that for the mayor of Toronto. And it was her job to fucking, whatever was said about the mayor in Toronto in the news, she was supposed to write down and, like, give it to them. So they'll know who's friendly and who's not in the media. So they had a spy, but then I found out with the Expos, there was no spy. It was the president himself that was obsessed with me. And so they told me, they're like, don't tell anyone, but he actually got us to install a box in Puerto Rico to listen to you. So fucking the best is, so once people were ripping the team, everyone was like a negative show and shit. And Jimmy Spencer, my operator, tells me, he fucking tells me, Jimmy Spencer says, he goes, Tony Tavares is on hold right now. He said, we had some like prank calls and shit. All right. So we had some prank calls and stuff. And I asked Jimmy, I said, did he call on the private line? He goes, no, it's not on the private line. He's just on the hold. And I said, well, how do you know it's really Tony Tavares? I go, how do you know it's really Tony Tavares? And he goes, well, I'm pretty sure it is. He calls a lot. And I go, I don't know, man. I don't trust that it is. And I left the president of the Expos. This guy used to be the president of the Ducks and the Angels. Fuck. He actually has a Stanley Cup ring and a World Series ring. He was the president of the Expos. I left him on hold for like 20 minutes. And I told my operator, ask him questions, like off the air to see if it's really him. And it really was him. So then he finally comes on the air. He's fucking steaming at this point. Fuck. He's like, I just want to correct you about some of the facts that you once again got wrong. He was like a fact checker of the show when he was the president. he eased up in the last month. Like we both eased up on each other. Fuck. It was one of the funniest things ever. We'll get to football here, but one of the funniest things ever was at the end of the fucking year, right near the end of the year, he's standing there, and Omar Minai is there, and like there's a bunch of people there and shit. And I said, I never heard from you guys, but I said, am I coming to Washington or what? Tavares, I almost earned his respect. Like, because I said, I don't know. I said, I keep waiting, but I said, so what's the deal? Am I coming to Washington or what? And Tavares, like, fucking laughed so fucking hard, man. He fucking, like, gave me the old, Morency. Like, it was like that joke was so good that it won him over at the end of the year. Like, it was one of those deals, you know what I mean? It was so funny. Like, he almost choked. He laughed so hard. He was almost tearing his eyes. He was almost fucking tearing in his eyes. He was like, oh, God. He was like, oh, God, no, you're not coming. Fuck. They're all laughing and shit. And I was like, yeah, good, because I don't want it anyways. Right? I was like, fuck Washington. I was basically, it was fucking gold, though.
Oh, yeah, you'd never in a million years going to Washington. It's funny. They were all bothered and hot and bothered. Here's Gabe in Puerto Rico. What's he going to say about the Montreal Expos? Oh, but in those last couple of years, you can't draw flies. The team's losing. Everybody knows they're on their way out to the Washington in the next year or two. What are we trying to hide this? Are we trying to bury our heads in the sand and wear rose-colored glasses and pretend none of this is happening?
The best is when I got back from Puerto Rico. They get back from Puerto Rico, and look, we just can't get this fucking goal in. They get back from Puerto Rico, all right? And they're in Puerto Rico for 23 days. And they get back, and they're like the news is at the airport. There's a bunch of fans from at the airport and shit because they didn't suck in Puerto Rico. They were sort of battling for a playoff spot still, and they all get back and they're on the news and they're like, man, it was terrible in Puerto Rico and we're so tired and, it's not fair. We didn't get our home games. And like, they're like, we got to play tomorrow night and we're going right home to bed right now. And thanks, Major League Baseball. Like, they're all pissed off and shit. And by chance that night I was out at Wanda's, which is a strip club. And who walks in? All the Expos and shit. They're not tired at all. They're all fucking partying and shit. And fucking one of them comes up to me. He's like, hey, I missed you, man. He's like, fucking, he goes, yeah, I'm buying. And he pulls out an envelope, fuck. And he goes, I go, how was Puerto Rico? He goes, it was fucking great. And he goes, there was a casino in the hotel. And he starts saying about how great it was. There was a casino and about how Major League Baseball, since they were in Puerto Rico, they gave him like a bigger per diem per day. They were giving him like fucking $1,500 a day or something stupid on top of their salary. So it was nuts. He had like an envelope. I was so jealous and envious of them, of their lifestyle at the time. Young dudes. He just pulled out this envelope. It was like $23,000 in it. Fuck. And
that's a good chunk of change. Holy shit.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, this is just the per diem they gave us. And he's fucking like buying drinks at the club and shit. Like, I was just like, wow, what a life. Fuck, eh? Guy's already making like $3.8 million on the year, and he's got another envelope that he didn't use. He goes, yeah, I never used the per diem money. He goes, you get free, because the meals are free. He goes, we just ate in a clubhouse. I went to the casino and I won a lot. He had like $28,000 in the envelope and shit. Funny shit, fuck.
It's amazing that they think these guys need their traveling expenses covered or something. It's amazing.
Part of being a big leaguer, Babineaux.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, part of being a big leaguer, buddy.
Yeah.
Which you and I will never know the feeling of.
No, we're in the grind business. We're in the work hard and grunt work and roll.
Yeah, we're never going to step into the bed and
grind to get the job done.
Actually, you know what? I do know what it's like to be in the big leagues. I did a fucking game, but you know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't get $23,000. I think I got a $50 gift certificate for the Barbie Bar and chicken and rib place. But that's besides the point. All right, so let's start off. We got, and let's just quickly look at the NFL preseason here. 3 games tomorrow, guys. The nationally televised game, ironically enough, is not the Eagles and the Patriots. So we have the Eagles and the Patriots tomorrow. Patriots are -3.5. Total's 42.5. Jets and Redskins. Total 38.5. Redskins are -1. That's the game on ESPN tomorrow night. And we got the Pittsburgh Steelers and Green Bay Packers tomorrow night. Pretty good preseason games, actually. The Packers are -5.5 against the Steelers in this game. I guess Ben Roethlisberger's hurt, but I don't know. He wouldn't really want to play that much anyways. The one that catches my eye the most here, Babineaux, is actually the New York football Jets, Gang Green, getting 1 point. I love the quarterback situation, preseason quarterback situation here. And by chance, I was actually reading about the Washington Redskins camp today, Babineaux, or yesterday. I was just, getting caught up and reading about some NFL camps. And Redskins camp hasn't been a good one. Everyone's hurt already. Dotson's fucking hurt. Reed's fucking banged up already. They lost fucking Geis already. It's a disaster. Like, I was reading that Alex Smith has never had, like, any of the starting wide receivers on the field ever. He didn't play in the first preseason game. He's out of sync with everybody. I don't know. It doesn't seem to spell well for the Redskins. I like the Jets +1 tomorrow.
Yeah, we got the 3 games. Let's do Patriots-Eagles first, since that's at the top of the board. At this point in time, I'm just content to ride the New England over trend in the preseason. I did that last week against Washington. I'll be looking to probably do that here. The one concern is books got hammered by overs last week in the first week of the preseason. It was an over bonanza, an over fiesta last week, and you're seeing adjustment across the board, really, with these week 2 preseason totals. I mean, they're much higher. We're seeing a lot in the 40s now, which we were not seeing last week. So there is that adjustment being made by odds makers because they just got crushed by over bets last week. That being said, the New England over trend has been real. And I know Jimmy G was a big part of a big component to those overs the last couple of seasons there, but they found a way last week. There's some talk. Does New England really have an extra incentive about this game because it's a Super Bowl rematch? The answer is no. I've not seen anything from the Patriots that indicates they give 2 shits about Super Bowl revenge or anything.
Obviously there is. It's a preseason game, but there is. You know what I mean? They're not going to want to lose, but they're not going to leave their starters in to win. You know what I mean?
No.
But the Patriots that are playing will want to win. You're right about the Patriots. The Patriots historically have been an over preseason team, and they're a pretty good preseason team, actually, too, the Patriots. It's strange. But they do well. Look, the Redskins just fell apart last week in that game.
What I know about the Eagles, too, from what I've read, is no Wentz and probably no Foles at all in this game either. So they are taking this game very, very cautiously. It's going to be a heavy dose of Nate Sudfeld, the Indiana Hoosier quarterback, and Joe Callahan Auto Parts for you guys that watch Tommy Boy growing up.
Callahan was pretty good in the preseason last year with Green Bay.
Yeah. No, Callahan's a good preseason quarterback, Gabe. We've seen the guy play in the past. You're right with the Packers. He can play. He can make plays in the third and fourth quarter against third, fourth string defenses. So I don't mind Callahan being in there. He can get you some points. I think Sudfeld played okay. He made the odd mistake too last week, but Sudfeld's got a decent arm. Didn't do too bad last week.
Sudfeld to have out there.
Exactly. So I think you'll get some points here in this one. I know
the Patriots, though. It's a tough game, isn't it? I would lean with the over too. I have a hard time laying 3.5, but I don't think Philly gives a shit. I think Philly gives a shit less. You know what I mean? I
think so too. So I don't want Philly, but I'm not laying 3.5 with New England in a preseason game. I'm just going to go over the total here in this one. See if we can go 2-0 with the Patriots in the preseason over the total.
All right, these Dodgers and Giants still scoreless right now. Low scoring series, huh?
The Dodgers bats are lifeless, Gabe. This is a big problem right now. They get Dozier, they get Machado. You still got Puig and Bellinger and Jock Peterson, and Turner's back healthy again. Where are the hits? Where's the clutch hitting? Where's the offense here?
It'll be all right. It's ebbs and flows. They'll get hot again.
It's been a bad stretch. They got to right the ship. I mean, the playoffs are not a certainty anymore for the Dodgers. They got to get it going right now.
The bad weekend for Colorado, and then the Giants always have their number. It's just one of those rival type deal. Yep. I just grabbed the under 4.5, risky, but the way this series has been going, man, runs are really, really at a premium. It's not like San Francisco's bats are great either.
That bullpen is also sucking wind right now too. This Dodgers team, they tied the game last night against the Giants, and then the bullpen coughs the lead right back up again in the 9th inning against the Giants last night. So that bullpen's got issues right now too. Dodgers have some things they got to get fixed here because again, they're in a division that's very competitive. Arizona's not going anywhere. Colorado's been on a nice little run prior to tonight when they got bombed by Houston. But it's the Dodgers got to make some noise right now. They're starting to fall a little bit back, and they're going to have to make up this ground. They've got a lot of time left. We think the offense in theory should eventually come out of this funk, but it better happen soon.
So as far as the Jets are concerned, Sam Darnold got rave reviews for his debut. I see a story here. They're saying that Sam Darnold will probably be the only, or has the chance to be the only. Come on, Salt Lake, just bury a cheap goal for us. That he has the chance to be the only sort of first-round quarterback that'll actually start in week 1, which will be interesting to see. But from what I understand, and I'll do some research in the morning about this more, but from what I understand, Darnold's going to play quite a bit tomorrow, maybe like a full half and shit. Like, he really is in contention to be the starting quarterback already. They like what they see. I got to double check, but from what I saw from like a day and a half ago, basically they were saying that Darnold's going to play quite a bit here, like a full half of football, because they are leaning towards having him being the starting quarterback in week 1 right now.
And I'm not sure I totally mind that if I'm back in the Jets here in this game. I liked what I saw out of Sam Darnold. I thought that was a strong debut from him. I didn't see jitters. I didn't see happy feet in the pocket. And actually, believe it or not, you got that from him once in a while with USC. He was really, really poised, I thought. Pocket presence was great. He used his feet when he had to. It was very good.
Some guys are better pros than college. It's strange. Like Andrew Wiggins, you know what I mean? Wiggins is actually better in the NBA than he was in college. It's you're right. Like he was skittish last year. Maybe it was the pressure, the situation. I don't know what it was, but he does look calm. But we can't overreact. It's one preseason game, though, right?
And he's going to get a lot more time in this game and a lot more opportunity. We'll see how he handles it. But 13 of 18, 96 yards and a touchdown last week. Pretty good stat line if you're Sam Darnold. No turnovers either. That's the best part of that stat line right there. The Jets have the kind of situation with their quarterbacks you want in a bet-on situation in the preseason. Darnold's going to play a lot. He looked good last week. They're showcasing Teddy Bridgewater because there's a high probability they trade him at some point. There's all the talk coming out of New York. I think he'll be featured a lot in this game. He's going to have a point to prove. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder. It's like a showcase for other teams around the National Football League for him in that game tomorrow night. So that's bet on stuff. You'd mentioned Washington with the injuries. Jay Gruden's got to be very, very frustrated and very, very worried about this. This has got to be a situation where it's you get the game over with, keep everybody healthy, you play it cautious, tight to the vest. You don't put any more of your key starters at risk. I think you're probably going to see more of the Jet starters from what I've read potentially in there longer than the Washington starters. So you might have a first half edge with the Jets too. First half and full game. I would probably split my wager up first half and full game here with the New York Jets, but it's clear to see why they've taken some money this week.
All right. And the other game is the Packers laying 5.5. Seems a little high, but Pittsburgh have never. Tomlin's one of the coaches that seems to care the least about the preseason, to be honest. And their quarterback situation, they're pretty banged up right now. So Roethlisberger's out. I think that Jones is out. So it's basically
you're not going to see any of those guys. You're going to see Rudolph, and it's bare bones for Pittsburgh. Rudolph and Josh Dobbs as your two quarterbacks tomorrow night.
Dobbs could be decent in a preseason game. You know what I mean? Second year here now. He's not terrible. He did some okay things in the preseason last year. I guess it's a good opportunity for them to see if Mason Rudolph can play, right? They think he can. They drafted him. So we're going to find out about that. But I don't know. It's more of a pass for me. I don't trust the Steelers, but at the same point in time, I'm not laying 5.5 points in any preseason game.
Well, here's the thing. I had Green Bay last week, a good winner against Tennessee. I like that situation that they had last week with a backup quarterback battle, which to me is bet on all the way in the first 2 weeks of the preseason. When you have a backup quarterback battle for the second spot, you had that with Brett Hundley last week.
Yeah, but what was the final score last week? Wasn't it a close game? Wasn't it like 18-13 or something weird?
31-17 it ended, I believe.
31-17, all right.
Yeah, 31-17. I mean, they got a backup quarterback battle. Mike McCarthy's got to figure out who's going to back up Aaron Rodgers this season. It's either going to be Brett Hundley or it's going to be Deshaun Kaiser. They're battling for that spot. So that means these quarterbacks, first of all, you're going to have offensive coordinators and play callers and coaches that are going to call more aggressive play calling because they got to see what these quarterbacks can do. And second of all, you got two quarterbacks battling for the spot that are motivated, chips on their shoulder, really want to show out in a game like this. So I think you're going to get that from Green Bay. I laid 2.5 early in the week with Green Bay because I knew this line had to go up. Because we know what Mike Tomlin's like in the preseason by now. He doesn't give two shits. I mean, the Steelers have been a bad preseason team for years under Mike Tomlin, and it's not a situation where I'm expecting them to put a whole lot of emphasis in this game with already announcing Ben and Landry Jones aren't going to play. So the early money coming in on Green Bay makes sense, but if you didn't bet it yet, don't bet it now. Maybe if you still like Green Bay, you put them in a money line parlay of some kind because you've missed the best number.
Now, I do agree with my boy Sonny Vega. I think Teddy Bridgewater is good too. If you look, when Teddy Bridgewater cost us $55,000 in the fucking super contest. Fuck. When he beat Aaron Rodgers in the last game of the year that cut 2 years ago. So, they were a 10-win team with Teddy Bridgewater then, and Teddy Bridgewater was still young. I've always been a Bridgewater fan. I think Bridgewater's a winner. I think he's a good quarterback. And I think if he got an opportunity to play somewhere, it's too bad he had the injury that he did. But, he could get his opportunity again down the road. But, interesting, Babineaux. I guess, I could consider laying the 5.5 here. It probably goes up, to be honest.
It still could. It could hit 6.5. I don't think it'll hit 7. At 7, eventually there'll be buyback on Pittsburgh if it gets that high. But there could be another trickle of Green Bay money before kickoff because no one's going to want Pittsburgh. Everybody that's betting preseason knows the same thing we know, and that's their preseason track record under Tomlin's been downright awful, and they don't put emphasis on these games, especially the first couple of weeks. So, and Green Bay, people know about the backup quarterback battle, which is, again, the type of situation you really want to be betting on in the first couple of weeks of preseason.
You got the Jaguars. They're getting 4.5 at the Vikings. Raiders and Rams. This is interesting. Fuck, these guys are playing each other. In the season opener.
Yep, indeed. Which has you thinking under the total.
One thing to play in the preseason against the team and then play in the regular season, but it's rare that you play the preseason and open up the season. So remember, Feinberg brought this up last week in that game. I think it ended up creeping over the number, didn't it? It was 38.5. I think the Arizona LA Charger game ended up going over 24-17. I think the final score was. Ended up creeping over the number, but fuck, Raiders and Rams playing in 2 weeks, man, essentially again in 3 weeks. I can't imagine anyone showing anything in this game.
Well, and people realize that because this total was 42.5 when it opened. It's 38.5. That's a 4-point preseason total move right there, which you don't see every day. And people see the same thing. It's a regular season meeting. Gruden, McVay, nobody's going to want to show their cards too much to the other team. Keep everything nice and conservative. Run the football a lot. Just don't do any trick plays. Don't really air it out too much. You don't want to give anything away. I'm going to actually, from a side perspective, try to make a case for the Rams. It's still early in the week. We don't know. We'll get some more quotes trickling in tomorrow and Friday before that game. But the Rams had a no-show, complete no-show last week in Baltimore. They went on the road. A lot of their starters didn't play. They just mailed that thing in. Now they're back home. Oakland had the big debut for Gruden last week at home. Maybe not putting as much emphasis into this game. Situationally, it kind of makes sense. The Rams maybe -2.5, but I'll have to read some more going into this game.
Grinch is saying last Thursday was 6-2 to the over. Watch it be 6-2 to the under this week. Everyone's it's a high score and this and that. Man, it's good. It's gonna go low. David H asking who my sleeper team is. I tell you, I do like the Arizona Cardinals over 5.5 wins this year. So are they a sleeper to win something? I don't know. But they went 8-8 last year, and they had a shitload of injuries. I think they're going to be a better team this year. They'll be able to get to 6 wins. A team that I could, I don't know if they're a sleeper either, but a team that people have sort of don't think are going to be good, and I think they will be actually. And let me see their win total, and I am speaking of Andy Reid's Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs win total it's 7.5 -170 right now. Bet 365, but it's -170 the over. So That means in Vegas it's probably 8, I would imagine. But Andy Reid doesn't lose games, man. Like, he doesn't win Super Bowls, but he wins regular season games. It's not like it's like Alex Smith is gone and people are sort of, oh, the Chiefs are done. And I'm an Alex Smith guy. But Mahomes isn't going to suck, all right? It's his second year right now. They didn't rush him in here. They've done this well. They're surrounded with fucking talent, man. It's going to be a fucking load to deal with Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, and Sammy Watkins. It's a lot of fucking speed, man. And you're going to have a Kaepernick 2.0 here that with a better arm than Kaepernick in Mahomes, who can fucking air it out, this kid. He's got like a baseball, like fucking cannon arm too. He can zing it in there. He can scramble. He can run around. They've had a fucking year to fucking prep them and get ready, and they're going to be all ready for the Chargers in week 1. I just think the Chiefs are being a little bit undervalued coming into this year.
I hate their defense. I really do.
I should know too. The division that they play in sucks, fuck. All right, the Denver Broncos are You know, I was sort of kind of convincing myself that the Broncos are going to be okay. They're dysfunctional, the Broncos.
Their offense had issues that's only the first week, but
you know, they're not, you know, I think the Broncos, look, their win total is 7.5 as well. But they're 7.5 to the over at -125. Kansas City Chiefs are 7.5 to the over -170. So the odds makers are saying that the Chiefs are better, but people are greatly underestimating the Kansas City Chiefs this year. They're going to be in the mix for the division. Like, who's good in this division? The Raiders are going to be shit. I think to me the Raiders are like a 7-9 team, 8-8 or something, if they're lucky. The Denver Broncos are The Chargers are supposedly the team to beat. And the Chargers always choke and get fucking hurt. The Chiefs are going to be right there. The Chiefs' demise is greatly exaggerated.
If the Chargers stop getting so many damn people hurt here in the off-season and training camp, they are the team to beat, in my opinion, in this division. But Kansas City, I don't like their defense, not one little bit from what I've seen so far. They've struggled in training camp. They were awful in the preseason with their starters on defense against Houston. Brandon Weeden last week, folks. Brandon Weeden for Houston. 9 of 11, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns against that Kansas City defense. A lot of that time was against the starters as well.
Judging their defense on
No, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it, their roster defensively coming into the training camp. I'm looking for signs, a signal, a lifeline here in the preseason that maybe they're better than I gave them credit for. I haven't seen it yet. In fact, they looked every bit as bad as I think they could be this season last week. Now their offense is a different story. Their offense has some weapons. Patrick Mahomes is growing a little bit. He's still got work to do. I think he was up and down, inconsistent last week in the brief time he got. That's a good team to watch this week, Kansas City, in their second preseason game, because that defense was just horrible, the starting defense last week in that first game. We'll see if they improve and if Patrick Mahomes can improve. If anything, if I could just get some offense from the Chiefs.
They lost 17-10 Babineaux, right?
No, but with the starters on the field. Most of the Houston points came with the against the Kansas City starters. I mean, that's what the big.
I'm going to take that with a grain of salt.
They're an over team to me, more than bet on or bet against. If I can get any sort of good, decent offense, decent to good offensive production from Mahomes, the run game, from the receivers. I know their depth of receivers is a little sketchy still, but their secondary looks really thin. That's a problem against the pass-oriented the league that the NFL has become. They are an over the total team week to week, in my opinion. Not so much bet on or bet against for me, but over the total week to week.
Yeah, I think Kansas City will be fine. I really do. I think defensively they'll be fine. As I say, to the division that they play in, it's not like anyone's offense. What, you really think the Broncos' offense is going to run up and down the field on them?
That could be their saving grace. There's no dynamic, explosive offense. Oakland could be decent. The Chargers could have a good offense as well, but there's a lot of coulds there, in the mix, especially offensively with these 4 AFC West teams. A lot of coulds. We'll see if it turns into it will play that way.
Now the Chiefs. How many years in a row the Chiefs been in? How many years in a row the Chiefs been in the playoffs?
Well, the Chiefs have been ultra consistent, and it's not just under Andy Reid.
Suddenly, after fucking 18 years, Andy Reid's just going to suck and his team's going to fall apart.
I'm worried too about Bob Sutton here at this defensive coordinator too for Kansas City, because he's been there a long time. Last year, the defense sort of regressed a little bit. I don't like what I'm seeing so far. maybe you got to do something there in terms of shaking up the coordinator position there, because it's been a downward trajectory. I'm just legitimately, I'm saying it, I'm worried about their defense big time.
Yeah, I would. I don't really. So you want to fire the offensive coordinator now?
Not fire him yet, but this is the defense. They got worse and regressed.
You're going to fire the offensive coordinator because they gave up a drive and a touchdown to the Houston Texans in the first preseason game of the year.
Not this year. I'm saying if they have a bad year defensively this year, that maybe they might have to make some kind of change, because they lost a ton in that. That secondary looks really poor going into this season for Kansas City. That you got to have a decent pass defense. You absolutely do.
Defense last year, Babineaux ranked 10th in the NFL.
Yeah. But against good offenses, they struggled. They did.
They're going to go from 10th in the NFL. I don't know. Like, what did they lose in the playoffs last year? What was the score in the playoff game when they lost last year? Let's see.
Couldn't get a stop against Mariota and the Titans. We were watching that game in the bar in Vancouver in the second half, game on the line. Couldn't do it.
They lost that game because Travis Kelce got hurt. They were dominating the fucking game.
Yeah, offensively they were.
Marcus Mariota scored a touchdown because he fucking threw it to himself. But bad.
Yeah, but if your offense is struggling, it's up to the defense to right the ship, hold the fort, make some stops, preserve the lead.
I just think
didn't happen.
Maybe you could say you think they're going to regress big time and you think they're going to be bad, their defense, but you're talking like the Chiefs' defense has been bad. They were ranked 10th in the fucking NFL last year.
It's going to be worse than that. Take the over in terms of their ranking this year. Way over.
Marcus Peters is a fucking head case, Grinch. That's why they let him go. And the kid they brought in from Washington. And look, I don't mind Peters. He's a playmaker. He gets fucking burnt a lot, but he'll make plays a lot. But yeah, I don't see the massive holes, in the Chiefs defense compared to other teams with Beto. Like, I'm looking at like the different rankings here right now. They gave up 272 fucking yards a game. They gave up 5.4 yards a play. You're right. There were a couple.
See, that's not great. That yard per play average doesn't excite me at all.
What's that?
That yard per play average they allow doesn't necessarily excite me all that much.
You know what the Minnesota Vikings were?
What?
5.2.
Yeah. Again, against better offense. Every time I saw Kansas City play a good offense last year.
Sorry. That's the preseason. That was the 5 point. That was the preseason. My bad.
To me, this just looks like a roster that's worse defensively than it was last year for this Kansas City team. But it's all going to be about Mahomes. I think if they can score points, they're going to be competitive. They're still going to have their chance to win games, but they're going to have to be in some shootouts this year. Because I think you're going to see this team give up 24, 28, 31 points.
Right, here it is. They gave up 21.2 points per game last year. 21.2. The Seattle Seahawks gave up 20.8. Denver Broncos gave up 23.9. Minnesota was 15.8. Jacksonville 16.8. So it's not, they don't have an elite defense, but it's better than average.
Last year, maybe. Not this year.
All right. So you're going to bet the under 7.5 wins?
But the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm abstaining from them season win totals wise because the offense is the great wild card with this football team.
You're all adamant about how they're going to suck, but no, I'm not going to bet that though.
Well, stink defensively, but I have no clue what we're going to get from them offensively. I actually think they could be really good offensively. But I also think, this is Patrick Mahomes in his first year from a program and a type of offense. How many air raid spread offense quarterbacks have had gigantic amounts of success in the NFL, especially from, programs like that, Texas Tech, or the Big 12 in general? Not many. That's another thing Mahomes has to, he has to overcome that.
The Big 12, he has to overcome that. The guy's a great athlete. The Big 12 doesn't have a great track record of quarterbacks. But there hasn't really been a ton of them drafted either, right? It's not like there's a shitload of bust quarterbacks out of the Big 12. It's not really that many. But I get it. But the thing with Mahomes is he's not like really – a lot of the spread offense quarterbacks are just sort of skinny kids. they're skinny kids, or they're dudes that don't know how to read playbooks, or they're not pure athletes. Fuck, they're sort of all right. You can run the read option and shit. Mahomes is a guy. Mahomes is like Russell Wilson, Babineaux. Like Mahomes is a guy that was good enough to play professional baseball. His father was a professional baseball player. Like he's just
Yeah, he's got some athleticism. There's no question about that.
It's in his bloodlines. It's in his bloodlines. The guy's just he's just a winner.
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying the offense is going to stink because I think there's hope for this offense.
We'll find out if it's a winner.
And Andy Reid, give him credit. I mean, he's at least been able to get his offenses to produce and perform throughout his entire tenure with the Chiefs. So he's got a good guy on his side here, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, to maybe get this offense going.
More for defense over the years, Babineaux, than offense.
They have, but I think they took a big step forward offensively last year. They did a lot of trick stuff. They did some end arounds. They got Tyreek Hill involved, jet sweeps. They did a lot of different stuff. And Andy Reid was going for it a few times, some fake punts. Remember Andy Reid was doing that in a couple of games last year? He was a risk taker a little bit last year.
I'll tell you, Andy Reid's been in the NFL for 19 years, guys. All right. Andy Reid has been a head coach in the NFL for 19 years. He has won less than 7.5 games 2 times. So I'll take my chances with the 17-2. But
their schedule is tough. That's the only.
I'll take my chances that suddenly his defense doesn't look like the worst team in the history of football, and the sky's going to fall on him. Like I said, I'll take my shot here. Over 7.5. 17 out of 19 fucking years, Andy Reid's won more than fucking 8 football games. I don't think this year is going to be any different, Babineaux.
We'll see. He's got that opportunity. Hopefully he shores up that defense. That's all I got to say, because last week wasn't we'll see what they do this week here. Week 2.
Store up that defense, Babineaux. Like, let's go through the scores last year of their games. Like, I want to see, like, what are you talking about with their defense? Like, which game? So there was that cheat. Off the top of my head, I remember there was the game against the Jets that they blew the fucking lead. And
I thought their defense was average
35.
last year. Yeah, it was average last year. Their defense was not terrible, but it was okay. But they had games where they got shredded. They gave up 27 to New England.
Yeah, all right. So let's look through it. Yeah, well, shredded. They won
Houston.
the battle. They won the game 42-27.
Well, of course, their offense was great. That was maybe the best game I've seen Alex Smith play.
In the second week, they held Carson Wentz and the Super Bowl champions to 20 points in a 27-20 win. In week 3, they held the Chargers to 10 points. In week 4, they won 29-20 against the Redskins.
They got off to a hot start. I remember him.
The Chiefs beat the Texans in a shootout, 42-34. They lost to the Steelers, where they gave up a big whopping 19 points. They did lose to the Raiders 31-30. They gave up 19 to the Broncos. They lost on Thanksgiving 28-17 to the Cowboys. They gave up 12 points to the Giants. They gave up 16 points to the Bills. The Jets was the high scoring one.
Yep.
They beat the Raiders 26-15. They beat the Chargers 30-13. They beat the Dolphins 29-13.
They had no
beat
offense.
The Broncos 27-24. So I don't know, Babineaux. I must be missing something on this big, massive drop and the Chiefs' defense sucking.
No, that's this year. It's going to happen.
Why? Because they gave up 38 points once.
I thought last year we usually think of the Kansas City defense being, one of the better ones. Last year they dropped a little. This year I'm saying they're going to drop a lot. 5,
6, 7.
You don't lose the secondary people they did and have
9.
A better defense this season.
No, they gave up 20 points or less 10 out of the 16 games. That's pretty fucking good in today's modern NFL.
I just think this year you're going to see the downturn and the decline take shape.
All right. Babineaux says, you see.
I'm sticking my foot in the ground here. I'm not changing my mind here.
I know. I just like you to back it up with some facts a little bit. Besides, they didn't look good in a drive against Houston.
I thought there were a couple times last year they showed regression down the stretch, but this year to me it's really going to hit them. Their defense. Well, let's see what they do this week here. Their starters are going.
I just went through the schedule down the stretch. So would you consider the last month of the season down the stretch? That's down the stretch as it gets. The last month of the season, they gave up 15 points, 13 points, 13 points, and 24 points, and they won all 4 games. So I really don't really know what you mean when you say they faded down the stretch defensively.
Oh, the 2 games. I mean, Denver and Tennessee. Tennessee, they didn't get a stop with the game on the line. That's what I remember in a playoff game in a big spot. That's where you got to make your hay defensively, and if you're going to go where you want to go. Those big key crucial moments of a football game last year in that nice little bar in Vancouver. We're watching that game as a very nervous Kansas City backers like we all were, and we did not see that look like a big-time Chiefs defense in the second half. And now you could say all you want about Kelsey was out of that game and the offense stopped moving the football, which is true, but the defense has to rise up and it maybe help the offense if the offense is sputtering over and over again. That did not happen. It was bing, bang, boom. Mariota with the game on the line went down the field, scored both drives for the Tennessee Titans, including that one in the fourth quarter over the middle for that big touchdown with about 5 minutes to go. You got to have that's not big time defense in a big game. Sorry.
All right, but after all this, you're not betting the under.
No, because I think their offense is going to be good. So if I think one area is going to be pretty good and one area is not, it's a split, torn opinion I have. I think one side of the ball they're going to be good.
No opinion. It's just annoying. I don't want to call you out, Babineaux, but you're like, no. But no, I won't.
If you're forcing me to take a season under win total here, I'm going under. But I think the offense could.
You're not going under, but you're not going over.
No.
So in other words, you just gave us 20 minutes of nothing.
I'd lean under if I had to. Can't bet every win total, you know that.
Then just say you don't have an opinion on it then.
No. I just think their defense is going to be not very good at all this year.
Holy fuck. All right, Babineaux, before we let you go, give us a team that you do like then.
Do you not want to talk CFL this week? We got a week 10 slate to get through here.
Are you going to like the games or are you going to fucking give us a synopsis of, yeah, exactly, Bruce Chad, fuck. Thank you, Bruce Chad.
Now settle down, Bruce Chad. Eat another Domino's while you're at it there. Yeah. Fall asleep for another hour during the show like usual, too. Anyway.
I was waiting for a little comeback of like, wow, this is why their defense going to. The thing is, listen, Marcus Peters, the playmaker, is not there anymore. He also got fucking torched all the fucking time, too, right? He's also a head case. Fuck. There's a reason why they let him go. The kid that they brought in from Washington is damn good. Listen, I don't think the Chiefs, this isn't the old Derek Thomas fucking iconic Chiefs defenses, but, they're better than average defense. They always will be. Like, that's who they are. That's just who they are. Exactly, Grinch. Babineaux's been groomed by Teddy.
Well, if they're better than average defensively this year with that roster, hats off to them.
What'd you say? If they're better than average defensively?
If they're better than average defensively this year, I give them all the credit in the world.
So what does that does that mean then? So like
that means
top 16 and up?
Yeah. If they're upper half of the league in terms of points per game and yards per game or yards per play, whatever stat you want to use. Those are the main three I focus on.
The best one. Like I know people. To me, the points per game is the best one because that's the one that matters the most, right? People talk about yards and passes and this bullshit. Yeah. I've always been of the belief.
Well, there are some people that don't believe defense deserves credit for forcing turnovers, giving up a ton of yards and then forcing turnovers. But I think if you force turnovers and you're a ball hawking defense, you do deserve some credit. There's some skill to that. There's some ability to be able to take the ball away from the other team. So, and that's why some people don't really look at the points per game stat as the be all end all for how good a defense is. But I think turning the ball over and forcing it is important. I think it's a skill and it's something you need to be able to do to be a good defense.
Yeah, good defenses are good at it. You're right. There's certain teams that are better at it than others. I don't know. A lot of guys will tell you, it's an anomaly and shit. But a lot of guys that fucking say all this shit, like really, they've never played football or they don't really play sports and they're like, oh, this happens and this is, there's no one's clutch and, no one causes turnovers. Like you said, some players are better than knocking the fucking ball loose than other players are, right?
Yep, exactly. It's definitely a skill.
Yeah, Gino says 9-7 wins the AFC West. Thank you, Scott Ramsey. Kid Groove says the AFC West is tough. What's tough about the AFC West?
There's a flaw in every team in the AFC West.
The Denver Broncos are tough. Fuck, the Broncos will be like a 7-9 team. The Raiders are fucking dysfunctional already, and they're old. And the Chargers, listen, I respect the Chargers. I think the Chargers are good. But the Chargers are always like fucking are cursed. Like they always get injured and shit.
They really should win this division, the Chargers. They really should. But you're right. There's this, like, I don't know, there's this black cloud hanging over this.
They're playing in a fucking stadium with fucking 28,000.
Oh, there's no ambiance. None. Zero in that place.
Well, there's an ambience, but they don't have a home field advantage. The problem is, it's a good ambience.
It's no ambience for the other team. That's what it is. Yeah.
It's like a CFL. It's like saying a CFL stadium doesn't have ambience. Like the smaller the stadium, the more the ambience. But the problem is, if there's only like 30,000 tickets in the stadium, and all these teams in the West in their division are popular, fuck. Like the Raiders have more fucking fans in LA still than the Chargers do now. So when the Raiders play there, it's a Raiders game. The people from Kansas City fucking travel like the people from KC travel as much as like Pittsburgh and fucking Green Bay does. So you have like one of the biggest traveling fan bases that like to go to California. So like when the Chiefs play there, they fucking take the building over. I think they open up there this year. It'll be like a Chief home game, that game. And then conversely, like I said, you got the Raiders, the fucking Chiefs, and then the fucking Broncos have a shitload of fucking fans that travel everywhere. So like the Chargers, they really don't have that home field advantage at all. They sort of adjusted to it last year as the year went on, but it is tough for them. Like there's a good atmosphere there because, it's a small stadium. It's great seeing NFL football up that close, but it's not good for the Chargers.
I like how people in the chat saying that Babineaux gave us nothing on the Chiefs. Yes, I did give you something. I said over the total at game to game, the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the way. That's a betting opinion right there. That's game to game. What to bet over the total with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what I'm doing. That's my opinion. That's what I'm planning to do. Yep.
I know, but really, not telling us to bet on the overs, Babineaux. So what does that mean? Like, so we're gonna bet. What does that mean? Do we bet on every Chiefs over?
Well, when it makes sense to do it, you got to get the right line. You got to get the injuries.
Not telling us anything, man, is it?
No, it's just that there's going to be value with KC.
All right. Are you telling us to take the Chiefs and the Chargers over in week 1?
I would.
You guys are rattling Babineaux now.
47 and up. That's doable. It's absolutely doable, that total. 47 and a half. You could get over that number.
It's like when people say, this team, I don't know, I kind of like them to cover some spreads this year. It's like, well, every fucking team covers spreads.
Let's see how Mahomes does too this week. Let's see, because that offense still does have to improve a little bit. He'll get more time this week. We'll see how it goes for him.
Bobber's confused.
Yeah, I'm standing my ground because I don't have a fucking opinion on the win total. That's all there is to it. I don't like it over. I don't like it under. I'm not betting it. Why would I say I'd like the over and the under if I'm not putting my money on it? Makes no sense.
I know, but that's why we were just all a little perturbed that you were so adamant about how bad their defense is.
It's because I'm going to play their games over the total. That's how I believe it's going to be. There's your opinion in the end. It's not a season win total opinion. It's a game-to-game opinion. It's a strategy, a betting theory with that team. That's what it's called.
All right.
Anyway, we're moving on. We got CFL. We got 4 games. Week 10 here in the CFL. Halfway through the season.
The maddest I've seen Babineaux on the show.
No, I'm just trying to make my point very, very clear what I'm talking about here.
It's clear.
And it's frustrating me that your first night back, it's contentious like this. It's bothering me. Trying to have a nice, calm show.
I'm not contentious. I'm really not. Like, I'll be honest. Sometimes, I'll get mad when I'll argue with people about these things. But I'm really not, Babineaux. Like, I'm not. I don't mean to be contentious. I'm not at all.
Okay.
Don't feel like I'm not like, don't think, oh, great, I argue with Morency in his first night back. Like, I don't take it like you're arguing with me either.
All right. That's good. We're good. All right.
Yeah.
CFL week 10. Yeah. There's nothing more to talk about NFL in preseason anyway.
Look, I got defense. I just bring up the fact I don't think the Chiefs defense sucks. But
oh, yay. Dodgers scored a run. Fucking great. Way to go, guys. How about another one?
What's up, McKinnis? All right. Thank you for the kind words, McKinnis. Nice to see Bonzer Wolf in the house. Been a little while, Bonzer. Thanks for the kind words on Twitter. All right. So let's get into the CFL right now. Ottawa Red Blacks and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Blue Bombers are minus 6.5 point favorites against the visiting Ottawa Red Blacks. Total is 53.5. Last week, actually, I was leaning with the points with the Ticats at Winnipeg at 5.5. And I was leaning with the over at 57. And I actually got these bets in before, during my fucking situation, unfortunately.
Right. Yep.
But I decided at the end, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to tease this game. And it's a good thing I did because I would have lost the over and the fucking side. But I ended up teasing the Ticats to the over. So I got lucky there. And now, so you got the Red Blacks getting 6.5, total 53.5. I'm sort of thinking the same thing. I'm leaning Red Blacks tease to the over, but fucking Ottawa, man. I bet the over in that Alouette game, and they couldn't get there. So Ottawa are an inconsistent team, but I'm leaning right now, Babineaux, just with a teaser at plus 13.5 to 46.5.
Yeah, until Winnipeg doesn't cover at home, I'm going to keep going on Winnipeg. I mean, I told people, I didn't like Hamilton necessarily in that spot. Really, Hamilton made it closer than it could have been. They had a bad first half. They were behind big time early. They rallied late, made it closer than it really could have been. Unfortunately for me as a Ticat fan, but Winnipeg's perfect. ATS at home. Anything less than a touchdown, I think, with Winnipeg at home these days is excellent. This team's peaking right now. They're playing great football. 4-1 their last 5 games. Ottawa's only 1-3 against the spread against West Division teams. The only 2 wins against West teams were BC when they were really struggling, and Saskatchewan, who had really poor offensive play early in the season. So Ottawa's not beaten the Calgarys or the Edmontons or the Winnipegs this season. This is a tough test for them here for Ottawa, and it's a short week as well. They played Saturday at home. You're playing Friday in Winnipeg. They played on a short week once this season. They got buried against Calgary, 27-3. The other time they played on a short week, Ottawa. So for me, at less than a touchdown, I'm looking at Winnipeg here.
All right. Total 53.5. I mean, leaning with the over. I mean, we'll see if Ottawa's offense is pretty
Ottawa's
good.
offense, red zone's a big issue with them. That's the only thing that holds me back because I think Winnipeg will score. That's a low total for Winnipeg at home because it was 57.5 last week. It's 53.5 here. But Ottawa's settling for field goals too much. It's bothering me a bit. No Dressler, by the way, for Winnipeg, but they've got a lot of guys that are playing good at receiver. Adams, Dembski. Nick Dembski's had a great year. This Kembrell Tompkins that they got was a great college receiver. He's stepped up and played well for Winnipeg the last few games. So they got depth to survive Weston Dressler not being out there. And they got Andrew Harris, too. Can do it all. Catch, run. He's been awesome for them.
All right. So let's talk about the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. Total 50.5 here. There should be some points in this game, you would imagine. So BC's really shown that spark since Travis Lulay's taken over. They're a fun team to watch. They really like playing for them. And then you get the Toronto Argonauts, who have been off since that epic comeback a couple of weeks ago. And so now Bethel Thompson's got time to more practice. They've had a lot of time. He's got a little confidence after winning his first ever start. You get BC rolling in here. I don't know, man. The Argos haven't been great at home. I mean, even the 2 games they won, right? They didn't play good against Edmonton. They ended up winning the game. Against Ottawa, it was like a miracle fucking comeback. But you got to tip your cap to them. And they were so fucking bad earlier in the year. You got to believe that, they can play better as the season goes on. They've had a bye week here to get ready. I'm going to lean with the Argonauts here, Babineaux. I'm going to take the Argos at plus 2.5. BC's good, but now you got to come to the East Coast and win. I'll take Toronto on their home field here.
Yeah, I'm on BC here. BC has owned Toronto in Toronto. They've won and covered like 6 straight in Toronto going back to 2004. I think that's a big win for them last week against Edmonton, BC. They dominated the second half. The defense finally showed up. I don't buy this McLeod Bethel Thompson stuff. He stunk for 2.5 quarters against Ottawa, and that whole offense stunk for 2.5 quarters. And then Ottawa, they took advantage of an Ottawa team that fell asleep. That's not all Toronto figured it out and things started clicking. Ottawa fell completely fast asleep in that game with a 38-17 lead, and Toronto took advantage of it. Let's see if forced Toronto to play for
24-point lead they came back from.
Exactly. Ottawa fell asleep. I'm not giving Toronto a whole lot of credit and accolades for that win. I got to see it again from Bethel Thompson. He couldn't have played worse, actually, for 2.5 quarters. BC's defense played their best half of the football of the season last week. They can carry that over here. This has actually been a spot and a place, Toronto, where BC's just been fantastic in over the years. I am concerned it's getting up there, Gabe. I can see, it was BC Pick'em -1. It's -3 now. There'll be a point where Toronto's going to have some value here, but I think BC wins. Yeah, I think BC wins. I think, and it's West versus East, and West versus East head-to-head. Still been a big factor and big in favor of the West so far again this year.
Yeah, I get that. I like the Argos though. I think I'm gonna stick with the Argos here.
I'll give BC credit. They're playing their ass off for Lule, and this offense is making plays now.
I know. I remember 2 weeks ago you were saying Lule should be in a retirement home, and he's terrible. Now you're like, oh, they're gonna win on the road for sure.
Well, I was worried that his next hit would be his last one, and he hasn't had that big hit yet. He stayed healthy. The offensive line, give them credit, kept him upright. That's been the key. And Lule's got confidence. They got confidence in him, and it feels like they like playing with him too on that offensive side. So BC with some good vibes here. And this is a game, I think, if you're BC, you're 3-4. You got a big win against Edmonton at home last week. You got to take care of business here because this is a beatable foe right now. Again, I got to see Bethel Thompson do it for 4 quarters Saturday before I can get on his bandwagon.
All right. We've got the Johnny Manziel-less Montreal Alouettes. So at least Manziel can say he's 1-1 against the spread. Manziel and the Alouettes covered a number last week. They lost by 7. They lost 24-17. Now they get Edmonton. Now, Edmonton beat the shit out of these guys a couple of weeks ago in Montreal. They had a hard time keeping up. There was a shitload of points scored on the board. That was the game people wanted Manziel to play, and he didn't. So Manziel's out. He's got a concussion right now. Life in the CFL isn't great for him. Let me just confirm. Is Vernon Adams good to go?
No, I should talk about this because the quarterback situation for Montreal is completely up in the air for this football game. Johnny Manziel may not play. They placed him in concussion protocol earlier.
He's not playing with that. I just said that. What do you mean might not play? He's got a concussion.
Sherman says that they're going to see if he can practice tomorrow, and if he doesn't, then he's definitely out. I don't expect him to play now, and that's changed my thought process on this game because I was looking hard at Montreal. I don't think Adams is going to be good to go.
Under concussion protocol, and they're playing in 3 days. I doubt he's playing.
Yeah, I doubt he's practicing. I don't know why Sherman said that we got to wait and see if he practices on Thursday. I doubt. It'd be stunning to me if he does practice, but I'm anticipating like he's not going to play, and I don't think Adams will either. And Matt Schultz is banged up as well. You could be looking at Antonio Pipkin as your quarterback here for the Montreal Alouettes, the 4th stringer, because he's been taking the first-team practice reps all week for the Montreal Alouettes. Antonio Pipkin, who's a Division 2 or 3 quarterback in his college days, making his first ever starts. Believe it or not, Montreal, I was giving them a long hard thought here in this game. 3-0 against the spread at Montreal, their last 3 road games, believe it or not. Look at these road warrior Alouettes. They covered it at Calgary.
They're always getting a ton of points.
They covered at Ottawa. They won outright at Saskatchewan. Those were for their 1 win this season. That were their last 3 road games. However, Montreal's defense last week, they only lost by 7, but they gave up 600 yards to Ottawa. Ottawa turned the ball over and over again. They coughed up the football, and that's the only reason they only scored 24 points. They should have scored 30 or 40 again against that hapless Montreal defense. Edmonton should hang a crooked number. They put 44 up on Montreal a few weeks ago when they played. They're in a bad mood too. Jason Moss is livid with the penalties this team takes. He's sick of it. He says he's going to bench guys. He's going to fine guys. He's going to yank guys out of the practice field if they keep taking these bad, undisciplined penalties like they have. This is walking into a hornet's nest here for Montreal, especially if Antonio Pipkin is strolling out to under center at the quarterback spot for them. So any thought I had at Montreal, it's out the window now. Over the total is probably the way. I'll try to make a case for the over because I think Edmonton can get 40. You just need Montreal to do a little bit to get that thing over the total.
I don't know where the hell I know Pipkin from. Fuck. He played at Tiffin University. I don't even know Tiffin University, but
Just
don't know, man.
make sure if you're going to bet this game, stay on top of it the next couple of days with reports and who's going to start, because it's really up in the air.
That's a train wreck for the Alouettes. But
It's up in the air. It's nobody knows yet. Sherman doesn't know. Cavis Reed says, "Oh, we can't figure it out yet." He can't
I don't
figure
know, man. The
anything out,
Alouettes
that
are a
guy.
weird team, though. They fucking cover these big numbers. Like, they don't cover every week, but
Well, I'm not taking Edmonton. I'm not laying these points with Edmonton. Edmonton's flaky as a chalk of this size. They're only 7 and I believe 16 against the spread their last 23 home games. They've been a money burner as home chalk at Commonwealth Stadium. It's been that way for years. Remember against Saskatchewan, their last home game, barely won that game, didn't cover as 8-point favorites there. So, laying big points with Edmonton's not something I would like to do. I would bet their team total over, but I would stay away from laying the points.
all right. And finally, in closing, we got the Stampeders and Rough Riders again. Fuck, what do these motherfuckers play every 2 weeks? So last time they played, it was a similar situation. I think the spread was the same, actually. Was it 7 in that game? 34-22 was the final score. Calgary won 34-22. If you look, the Rough Riders then lost. Then they lost to the Eskimos 26-19. They've been off for a couple of weeks, actually. Now, they've been off for a week, excuse me. So what do you think? What do you make of this one? The Calgary Stampeders and the Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
It's the Calgary Stampeders off a bye week, and that means I don't bet against Calgary because I think they've won 14 or 15 straight games off a bye since 2003, 2004, and they've covered, I believe, something in the range of 66, 67% of those games off a bye week. That is a very distinct long-term 15-year or so track record that Calgary's had. I mean, it goes back to Huffnagel as the coach, even goes back, way back to when other guys, Higgins, that's the guy. Tom Higgins was the coach of the Stampeders, and they were good off a bye. They were good off a bye under Huffnagel, and they've been good off a bye under Dickinson right now. It's just they've been like clockwork. They came out and blitzed Ottawa off their last bye week that they had in Ottawa. I believe it was 27-3. They just hammered Ottawa, dominated them. So Calgary off a bye, I don't bet against them, but it's a lot of points. Saskatchewan does have a good defense. They do have Zach Collaros back. He returned the last game, played okay against Edmonton, actually. My concern for Saskatchewan was where are they going to go offensively at receiver now? They cut Duron Carter, released him. You've got Naaman Roosevelt. He's good, but you got, Caleb Hawley's okay. They signed Rob Bagg, the guy they cut in training camp, old veteran receiver. Now they brought him back because they got rid of Carter. I'm not sure Saskatchewan's moving the ball up and down against Calgary's defense in this game. I'd lean under the total.
So they start the guy at fucking DB. Like
Unbelievable, huh?
They're fucked up, this fucking team, man. I'm just out of their dysfunctionality. I just take Calgary almost. Like,
what's amazing too? I will not bet against Calgary off a bye. That's all there is to it, plain and simple. So if I had to give out a side, it would be Calgary or nothing. Just look for 7. I believe 7's still out there, so you can lay a flat 7 in this game right now. 7. For the most part. So, I can't bet against Calgary off a bye. You're right about Duron Carter. I mean, Duron Carter gets a lot of flack because he's flamboyant and sometimes, he's very outgoing and he talks a lot of smack and all that. But it's hard. I actually think Chris Jones is in the wrong here. He's bungled this guy's career this season as far as I'm concerned. He's botched it. He has sabotaged it, you could say. He really has, because he's got this guy playing on defense when he has no business playing on defense, when he was voted the best receiver in the CFL a year or two ago. You got him wasting time playing him on defense. He's botched this thing, Chris Jones. Now he's got T.O. working out with T.O. down there in Tennessee. The weekend he was getting honored by the Tennessee Chattanooga University. So what? He's going to be your replacement now, 40-some-year-old Terrell Owens? I think there's some smoke to that now after seeing them cut Duron Carter. This T.O. thing may not be dead yet because of this.
Yeah, I don't.
It's crazy. I mean,
something clearly happened, right?
Yeah. There's some incident that led to this, yeah.
I mean, but there was the same shit last year in Montreal, supposedly, when he got into a fight or a couple of fights. But Nick Lewis told me it was bullshit.
That's the thing. People blame Carter for that. I'm not rushing to blame Carter for this because I've seen Chris Jones not handle this team well now for a long period of time. When are we going to give him some blame for what's going on?
He seems to be untouchable.
Yeah. Well, he's got the keys to the Corvette there with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. GM, president, head coach, does it all.
Yeah. He's, as you stated, like there's no one, he doesn't report to anybody besides the owner.
That's it. Yep.
So there's no one to question him. You know what I mean? There's just a rich guy who doesn't really know about football, and so he's got carte blanche. But just what a shit show. I don't know. Like you know who Duron Carter is, right? That's the whole thing. Like there's certain guys that are flamboyant. They're gonna have egos. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. But they're good talents, so you know how to deal with them. Like I said, I know Nick Lewis. Look, Nick Lewis has been in the league forever. And he actually says that Duron Carter is not bad in real life. He says, the media and shit. He says, he says shit in interviews and stuff. But like the fight last year in the practice in Montreal really wasn't him. I don't know. Something clearly happened. I see Dave Naylor saying, oh, he'll never play in the league again. And I see all the newspapers in Saskatchewan are ripping him right now. I mean, whatever. You guys can rip him. You took a wide receiver. You made him play fucking cornerback. It's like, whatever, fuck. There's worse things in life than getting fucking cut by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But the CFL is an old boys network, right? It's not unlike the NFL. And I say he'll get signed, though. But his reputation isn't good. We'll see what team fucking steps up and takes him. But
the media,
I think the Argos would be good. I think he'd be a good fit for the Argos, personally.
Yeah, there are teams talking. Ottawa's talking to Carter. My Ticats are talking to Duron Carter. Toronto, I think, is nosed around. Montreal's already said they're not interested. They're not bringing him back in Montreal. Mike Sherman said that today. We're not bringing Duron Carter back. But I'll tell you this right now.
They got enough of a circus.
Yeah, exactly. They got enough problems.
What's the use of having him? You don't have a quarterback. Fuck.
Someone's got to give him the ball. But the media might be ripping Duron Carter. The fans in Saskatchewan, because I know some of them and see them all the time on Twitter, and they ask me CFL stuff. They're ripping Chris Jones for this. The fans they're more on Duron Carter's side than Chris Jones. The fan base. They're disgusted with Chris Jones. Like they think this guy is just driving this franchise into the ditch one piece at a time. And believe it or not, they're only 3-4. It's not like they're a terrible team. They can still salvage this season, but the way they've gone about it's just bizarre what they're doing. And it's Chris Jones.
That's the thing too. Like Lloyd says, I agree. That's the thing. Trestman's been around NFL guys. He can deal with Duron Carter. He can shut him up and whatever, man. Duron Carter's not a bad guy. I thought it was ridiculous. Like you played him at DB. He's not a DB. So you played him out of position. You actually wanted to play him at linebacker and shit. It was a fucking shit show. Like I said, Chris Jones, it's too bad too. You look at Saskatchewan and it's such a it's like the model franchise in the CFL, Babineaux, from a monetary standpoint. And their stadium's the nicest stadium, and they sell the most tickets. They sell more merchandise than the Toronto Maple Leafs or Montreal Canadiens do.
That's everyone's got a Rider jersey. They wear the watermelon heads. Yeah.
So it's a big, it's crazy, man. I forget the number. It was like 2 years ago or last year, whatever, when the Riders were really good. How much fucking money they made? It was insane, man. It's like they made like $40 million profit or something. Like for a CFL team, it was over the top. It's like a little secret. They don't want people to know how rich they are. But one thing with Saskatchewan is they always violate the salary cap and shit, right?
Yeah.
Remember last year they got busted. They had like 20 guys on a practice roster and shit.
Yes.
Like they will spend money to try to win. Like they are sort of, they'll push the envelope. They're like a college team that'll do anything to win. But it's just ironic they're not winning. They're like LSU, Babineaux. They're like a program that should be better, that's like all big time and shit, but they're fucking it up because of the coach. And like you said, Chris Jones, why should this guy have complete fucking control? Because he won a fucking Grey Cup once with Edmonton? So you're going to give him complete control of motherfucking everything, where he's going to be this mad scientist and, I'm going to switch quarterbacks every play and I'm going to play wide receivers at DB. And it's a fucking shit show circus there. I don't see how he's going to be able to change it either. I don't think it gets better with Chris Jones there.
That's the thing. At least
they have talent, but they're still shit.
Yeah, he's lucky that the fans are they're diehards there. Yeah, even when you're having a tough season, you're going to get people that are caring, that are coming out to the football games and watching the games. But you're right, Chris Jones is not. I thought he was going to be a great hire for them because he came off the Grey Cup win in Edmonton, did a good job there. I thought, wow, it's a great hire here for Saskatchewan. But he's disappointed. Again, the quarterback stuff was ridiculous. You put one guy in one drive, put in another quarterback the next drive, putting Duron Carter at DB. Just stuff that doesn't make any sense. Stuff that takes away from your team developing chemistry and rhythm and continuity and all the things you need to win football games. And you're right, it's a good comparison with LSU. LSU's longing for the days now. It's hysterical. They're longing for the days when Les Miles was coaching their team. They ran him out of town. And you might as you want him back now, don't you? Yeah, you want him back now, Les Miles.
Les Miles averaged 10 wins a season.
Yeah, exactly. You'd kill for that now.
Because
10-2 every year with Les Miles, guaranteed.
Couldn't beat.
That wasn't good enough though.
Couldn't beat Saban, but the thing is, no one can beat Saban. It's, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't we crucify Kirby Smart and Muschamp and Mullen and all these other guys then for not beating Saban?
Les Miles is the Dwayne Casey.
Yeah,
he's the Dwayne Casey of college football. Babineaux, all right, Babineaux, great stuff. Thanks for stepping up and in. And as I stated, no, we weren't. It was just a heated debate.
No, forget about it. Yeah, it's
like I said, I wasn't upset about it.
Oh yeah.
So don't take it like I was. I hope you weren't upset.
No, I'm not upset at you. You're defending your position. I'm just telling the people in the chat. I gave you something on Kansas City there. I think they're going to be in a lot of high-scoring games this year. Bet the over. There you go.
All right. We'll speak to you on Friday on the radio.
Yes, Gabe. It's again. It's great to have you back. This is where you belong in the late night hours. We'll see you on Friday. And by the way, when we're out in Vegas next week, IFBC, for sure, we're doing this. I'm going to, whatever you want, drinking-wise at the bar, a toast to Mrs. Morency. We're doing that because we need to pay a tribute to Gabe's mother next week. How about the tough year we've had, Gabe, just before I sign off? We lose your mother. We lose Dave Malinsky, Earl Della Perel. It's been a tough year. I mean, it really, really has. We need to pay tribute to all of the people that we've lost next week in Vegas. We'll make time to do that.
Good stuff, Babineaux. Thanks for the time.
All right, Gabe. Take care. See you Friday.
There's Babineaux with us. And yeah, I wanted to end the show at midnight tonight, but, it wasn't going to happen with our boy Babineaux joining us now, was it? Man, he got upset about that Chief shit. Fuck. You guys in the chat were getting to him. Bruce Chad really got to him. What's up, Zach Jones? Thanks for the kind words. We'll see you next week in Las Vegas. When I said when Bruce Chad was like, "Well, that was a lot of nothing." I'm like, well, what's your stance, Babineaux? The only thing that upset me was like he's shitting on the Chiefs defense, like they're the worst defense in the history of the NFL. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Fuck. I read out. I said, I don't know, dude. They give up 13 fucking points a game. What do you want them to do? Yeah, that was good. I've never honestly. Listen, we've seen Babineaux get rattled. I've rattled Babineaux before in the past, but we've never seen Babineaux get mad like that. And yeah, Babineaux even took a shot at Bruce. He's like, "Oh, shut up and go eat some more Domino's." That's fucking gold. Babineaux tells Bruce, fucking. Babineaux tells Bruce, fucking, "Hey, man, go eat some Domino's." No, I didn't mean to put Babineaux on the spot. Oh, he got mad about the soup. That's right, but no, it was just fucking Babineaux was just shitting on the Chiefs' defense a bit more than I thought was justified. At least, if anything brought it, if it's any consolation, at least like it brought a smile to my face arguing with Babineaux about the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with some closing thoughts. We can't go on all night here. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Bruce, Big Will. Babineaux's the man. Babineaux's the man, and it was all in good fun. It's just I knew that at the end it wasn't going anywhere. That's why when I said, all right, so if their defense is so bad, are you going under the number? Look, the jury's out on the Kansas City Chiefs. The jury's out on that division. That's why they're sports books, guys. My opinion is no better than anyone else's opinion. I might think it is, but I'm probably wrong. Right? That's the beautiful thing about sports and sports betting and sports opinions. That's what I don't like. Like when people on Twitter and shit tell me, oh, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about that. It's like, I don't give a shit what you think. Fuck. If you're so sure, fucking log on to Bet365 or Bet Online or Bookmaker and fucking bet it. Fuck. That's why they're sports books. And then, well, I'm not going to bet it, but I'm just saying. That's when I get upset. When people are like, make a big case about a team or a fight or something. No, but I'm not going to take it. It's like you just argued for 15 minutes about it. But like I said, that's the beautiful thing about opinions. It's like stocks. Oh, that stock sucks. Well, fuck, you could fade it, buy it. You know what I mean? That's one good thing about sports, actually, that you're able to put your money where your mouth is with sports opinions. Right? You can say, you know what, I believe this, and I think it's going to happen. I'm going to put my money on it to happen. And as long as you're right, as we talked about it, as long as you're right, 63% of the time, you'll make money in the state of New Jersey. As long as you're right, as long as you win in New Jersey, as long as you hit 65%, you'll break even. Like, are they still laying that 25% juice and shit? What did somebody say in the chat the other night? They said, if you're laying minus 125 on NFL juice all the time, you basically have to win 60% of the time to make money. No, I'm just saying that, Gerald, because and then they'll cut you off once you win anyways. No, I'm just saying, Gerald. What's up, Gerald Martinez? Hey, I remember you, Jerry. I liked you better when you were Jerry. I remember when he was Jerry Martinez. I said, is that even your real name? And he goes, no, it's Gerald. I remember you. Hey, Gerald Martinez. No, I'm just saying Gerald Martinez because if you're laying minus 110, like they say, if you're laying minus 110 on a sports bet, you need to win 52.8% of the time to like not lose money with the juice and shit. So like you're showing a small profit if you check in at 53%. So I'm just saying, if you got to lay, like I saw the FanDuel book and shit at the Meadowlands in New York was fucking, it was like preseason was minus 125 numbers. You lay minus 125 on every bet, man. Suddenly, what 58%, 57% or something like that? Oh, that's a different guy. All right, what's up, Gerald? My bad. Like I said, I could accept if it was like, minus 115. It sucks, but it's like, all right, the sports book's right beside the NFL stadium. One thing that's really cool, though, and I saw this the other day, the NFL can't stop this, is that you're going to be able to bet from Giant Stadium and shit, or from, what do they call it, MetLife. You'll be able to bet from MetLife on your mobile because DraftKings has that app, right? And FanDuel, they're all going to have apps and shit for the football season, mobile betting. That's what I'm going to be betting when I'm down there. That's going to be my deal. I'm going to be getting fucking gypped with lines. Probably a good idea I don't get a New York bookie. So I'm going to have to accept it. I'll bet online too, but whatever. I'll get a fucking app and I'll show up every once in a while and collect my money from these motherfuckers. But I was reading, they were saying that they can't scramble or anything. So it will be cool. So you'll be able to Giants game and fucking bet on your mobile device. And then just after the game, or a Jet game, after the game, You know what I mean? They just cross the parking lot and shit and go collect your money from the sports book after the game and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. Fuck, everything seems to be legal in California. It's ridiculous it isn't. I swear to God, I've said this before. California, like Las Vegas doesn't get hit ever. You know what I mean? Like we see these, oh, Las Vegas is going to be done because you can bet in New York now and shit. It's like, or New Jersey, tech or whatever. It's like, whatever. No, it won't. But the one place that really would hurt Nevada and Las Vegas if they legalize sports betting would be California. It would, it wouldn't cripple them, but it would be a hit for them. The thing is, Vegas offers you, like, look at the IFBC. You know what I mean? There's a reason. We all bet online anyways, right? And I don't know if Zach Jones is still here, but there's a reason. Look, we're not doing the IFBC in fucking Delaware. You can bet in Delaware. We're not going to Delaware. You can bet in Atlantic City right now. Is the IFBC in Atlantic City? No. Why is the IFBC in Las Vegas? Because Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of America. I think saying the world is a little bold. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure Vegas is more happening than Paris, okay? So, but I'll give you America. So it's the entertainment capital, and that's what they're selling. Like, you know what I mean? We can gamble in a lot of places, guys, right? But there's a reason why we're doing it in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas is a fun city. That's why Las Vegas has shows. That's why they have buffets. That's why they have dinners. That's why they have fucking cheap drinks, right? You're not going to Vegas just to bet. You're going for the experience in the city. And New Jersey can't replicate that. They can't. Like you can't replicate Vegas. First off, you're not in the desert. The weather's not as nice. You don't have fucking 58 casinos fucking 2 feet away from each other. All right. There's not naked chicks running around everywhere. Like it's just not, You might have sports betting, but it doesn't change the world because you have sports betting. Man, what up, JN Reports? Thanks for the kind words, buddy. No, they don't. They make more off of slot machines and they make more off the tables, kid to groove, but they still make a lot of money off of sports. It's not the same. Holly Saunders. It's not the same. I didn't realize this Holly Saunders chick was this hot. It's not the same, but it's still big money. Look, they made like $7 million in a month in New Jersey off of sports betting. And this is in the off season. So imagine when football starts. So it's not, you can't shake a stick at them making $100 million a month or something like they're going to make. But obviously it's the slots and the tables that they make cash. Eric Casillas, unbelievable. Oh, Giants tied a game. That's a disaster. Fucking Dodgers always do this bullshit, don't they? Fuck, there goes my in-game under. Dodgers always do this bullshit, man. We had a bad night tonight, actually. Of course, why wouldn't we? Fuck. That's what I get for even betting now. Fucking Real. I never bet on Real Salt Lake, but couldn't resist a +1.5, cocksuckers. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with some closing thoughts and rip the Dodgers on the way out. I don't know. Maybe Babineaux was right. They really do fucking suck, this fucking team. Their bullpen really is a fucking disaster. You're right, Gino. Thank you, JP. I know Scott Ramsey's in the chat. He's dealt with loss before, so I appreciate Scott's kind words. One thing I will say, me and McInnes, though, we said, hey, fucking Ryerson covered against Duke tonight. Duke were 35-point favorites. I didn't see that too. Listen, I've been out of the loop kind of, right? So I was like, oh shit, Duke's playing Ryerson. And when I got in, I was in game. I only got 26.5. But Duke won by 19. Ryerson looked pretty good, actually. I swear, if Ryerson had a lot of open threes. There's this white guy on Ryerson. I guess he's their 3-ball shooter. And he couldn't hit a shot. And Shulman even said, he goes, this guy's usually a really good 3-point shooter. But I don't know if he was nervous or fucking whatever. He just couldn't hit a 3. If that white guy on fucking Ryerson hits a couple of threes, man, they only lose by single digits. Yeah, Ryerson battled, man. Ryerson battled. And, it's too bad, too, because Duke is playing Ryerson, who are okay. But now they're playing the University of Toronto, who are worse than Ryerson. And then they're playing McGill, all right, who are worse than fucking these two. So Duke kind of pussied out a little bit, to be honest. Like, Coach K knew what he was doing, right? He's scared of, like, real competition. So my point is, it's just too bad Duke refuses to play Carleton. We're right back to where we started a month ago with this. Whatever. And I'm not saying that Carleton's better than Duke, but it'd be nice of Coach K to play them. And just for the record, when some of you guys laughed about Carleton beating Cincinnati and Ole Miss like I said they would, Carleton went 5-0 against the NCAA. Their lowest margin of victory was 18 points against Cincinnati. They fucking smoked fucking Mississippi. They smoked the Mississippi Rebels, fuck. They beat Cincinnati by 18. They beat Ole Miss by like fucking 29 or something. They beat South Dakota State twice, and they beat Maryland Eastern Shore. So that their tour's over now. They went 5-0 against the NCAA. Their lowest margin of victory was 18 points. So, but let's just put it in Maple Jordan. I like that, Blaker. Good. I like that. To put it in context, though, so the Carleton Ravens beat Cincinnati by 18 points. And then the next night, Cincinnati beat McGill by 19 points. And now Duke is playing McGill, fuck. So, and I told you guys this before. I said Ryerson has the best chance against Duke out of these teams. And Ryerson hung around. I guess they were leading after the first quarter. I jumped in late. They were leading after the first quarter. They were down by 12 at the half. Duke were better, obviously, but Ryerson hung around, actually. Ryerson's got some 7'2" dude that was fucking dunking and shit. It was pretty cool. But U of T aren't as good as Ryerson. And McGill are okay. McGill have a couple of good players, but so be careful now. Like I said, like Carleton covered all 5 games. They won all 5 games outright. Ryerson covered tonight against Duke. Duke are probably going to be about 37 to 40-point favorites against University of Toronto on Friday night. And the University of Toronto is like a good academic school. It's not a great athletic school. Like their football team fucking lost like fucking 90 games in a row. Remember? Like they set the all-time record. You know who the field goal kicker was on that team? Joseph Valentini, the glory fucking champion. Toughest kicker in the history of football. He's a glory world champion kickboxer. He was the fucking field goal kicker on the Toronto Varsity Blues that lost all those games in a row. Like he never won a game. Like he played on the team, I think he said 3 years. He was like 0-36 or something. And the team, they lost. I think they lost like 100 games in a row. Whatever it was, some one of you might know. Like they lost like literally like 98 games in a row or something. he told me it was on MMA Meltdown. I was like shocked. I was like, "You were the kicker for that team?" He's like, "Yeah." And it was fucking hilarious. He was saying about how other guys on the team would be mouthing off and laughing at them and shit. And he'd say, "You better fucking watch your mouth and shit." And guys would be mouthing off. Big fucking linemen and shit would be mouthing off on the other team at him. And like teammates on the other teams would grab their own teammate and go, no, don't fucking fuck with this guy. And they're like, he's a kicker. And they're like, no, don't. You know, he's one of the toughest guys in the world. Fuck. It's fucking hilarious when he said that. He goes, yeah, man. He goes, I used to get into it with like linemen and shit. And he goes, I don't want to kick him in the head and stuff, but you know, I didn't. And he goes, they all word got out around the college football world. They were like, listen, they might be shit and he might be a kicker, but that kicker is like a fucking psychopath that'll fucking smash your face in. All right. So don't fuck with the kicker on that team. It was a great story from Bazooka Joe. Well, Other fucking Dodgers, terrible. Crappy night at the book tonight for me, man. But whatever, there's bigger problems in the world. All right, so we're out of here. We'll be on the radio tomorrow. We still feel like crap, but it was good to talk some sports with you guys. And it was somewhat therapeutic for a few hours, take my mind off of things and argue with Babineaux about the Kansas City Chiefs. But you guys are great. Your support will never be forgotten in this difficult time. And I know many of you have difficult times in your life, or you will. Thank you, Cody, very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And remember to tell someone that you care, someone close to you that you care before, you never know when they're not going to be around. So don't take anything for granted, motherfuckers. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.